Aw, it's so nice to log on to YouTube and see a message like that. Thank you, Susanna. I appreciate that. And welcome, welcome, Twitch Wolf. So, what's up? Happy Imbolc. Happy Imbolc. We're going to talk a tiny bit about Imbolc, and then we're going to do some reading so you guys have time to get on the list. I am streaming live on YouTube as well as my backup account on TikTok because haters love to hate. Fucking bitches. Anyway, so let's talk about Imbolc. Did you guys know that Imbolc is the halfway point between winter and spring? So as of today, as of tonight, the days will start getting longer. I don't know about y'all, but I am sick of it getting dark at 5:30. Like, this is stupid. So I don't know how y'all on the East Coast are surviving with it getting dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock. No. I'm done. I'm done. So this means that it is finally starting to become spring. I know it doesn't feel like it because some of y'all have snow everywhere. But some of the things about Imbolc that you guys should know. You ready? You ready? This is a holiday of fertility. This is a holiday of abundance. This is a holiday of getting ready for the upcoming spring. This traditionally started as a holiday that that celebrated the lambs in the mama's belly. When the lambs would start, the sheep, would start to get pregnant to get ready to have little teeny tiny lammies. This is what was celebrated, okay? So one of the main things that you guys can do to celebrate Imbolc, aside from literally just lighting a candle, because it's also a fire festival, for those of you guys over here on TikTok, I appreciate you wanting to go live with me, but I don't do that, sorry. Someone has ruined it for everyone, and yeah, this is my backup account, and I am not gonna get it in trouble. So Imbolc is always an interesting holiday. I love it because it means that it's fixing to be spring. And I don't know about y'all, but this last January, I felt like this January lasted like 979 days, like 12 years. Like, I have never ever seen a month that lasted that absolutely banana shit long. Like, I don't know. And I like January because it's my birthday. It's like getting back in the swing of things. It's new year, new energy. No. And yesterday, I swear, was the longest day in history. It was so long. So I am so happy that it's February. I am so happy that it's Imbolc. Wearing white is also traditional. This is a holiday that also celebrates the goddess Bridget. She was turned into a saint by the Roman Catholics when they took over Ireland. But so she is also Saint Bridget. There's a lot of things you can do as well to celebrate Saint Bridget. You can make one of the Saint Bridget's crosses, and you can find the recipes, the do-it-yourself things all over YouTube, all over the internet, really. So if you guys are interested in making one of those, please go do that. Bread, dairy, that's where I was going with the lamb stuff. Dairy, anything dairy. I love cheese, so this is always a happy holiday for me. But even if you aren't Irish, even if you aren't Wiccan, even if you aren't pagan, even if you aren't whatever, you can still celebrate Imbolc. You can still celebrate Imbolc, okay? Because of that, I'm using my Earth Wisdom Oracle deck this evening to do these reads. I have had this deck since 2019. I've had it since 2019. So almost 6 years. I got it in the summer of 2019. I don't use it a lot anymore. I used to use it a ton. Oh, I miss these cards. But yeah, so we're gonna do some reads. We're going to enjoy the evening. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk a little bit and so on and so forth. So yes. And you know, I have taken the last 2 days off of social media for the most part. I did get on and post a couple of videos because when that's your job, yeah. So I did get on and post a couple of videos. And I noticed that I had to go through and block on TikTok the META things. I had to block all 3 of those accounts, the face, the Insta, and the META accounts. And I finally started to get my feedback. That to me is ridiculous. I do not like that. But I noticed that the vast majority of the For You page is horrible right now. It is horrible, horrible right now. Scarly, let me make you a moderator over here, girl. There you go. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? We are. We are. All right. My first one tonight is Miss Denice C. There are still... Oh, never mind. There are no first 5 readings left, but there are still a couple of readings left. Oh, there you are, Leanne. Oh, and Tosh. Yay! For the person that just said on TikTok, oh my God, your hair is fucking everything. I adore you. I love you. Let me follow you back. I love you. I quit wearing, so I ordered these synthetic dreads a while back, and yeah, I've had them, okay, a while back is 2020. 2021? 2021. So obviously they have faded a little bit as I've worn them, and I quit wearing them because, you know, I don't know why I quit wearing them. I quit wearing them. And I don't know why. I think I let someone bully me. And that's not going to be a thing anymore. Fuck you is all I'm going to say. I treated myself for Imbolc, well, actually my late birthday present, a couple of weeks ago, and I ordered some brand new hand woven synthetic dreads from a girl in the Ukraine, and they should be here this week. They are bright white, and I can't wait to get them and put them in my hair. I've always worn these or solid blue ones, and I decided, nah. Yeah. All right, Miss Denice, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's just be honest for a minute before I start reading for Miss Denice, okay? Yeah? I'm going to go ahead and draw Miss Denice's cards. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have been in a really, really angry, sour mood the last couple of days. I really have. The unfair ban I got on my main account, it hurt my feelings really badly. I did discuss this in class with everybody this morning. And I just want to be honest with you guys. Since the whole thing with TikTok shutting down and then coming back on, and that feeling of getting grifted, that feeling of betrayal, that feeling of, I don't know what the fuck just happened kind of thing, it's just stupid, you know? So I had been dealing with that. And then for this to happen, for something that I did not do, and I took that personally. And I know that this was just a scammer that decided to report me or whatever, and they got what they wanted, you know. I'm off. But what they didn't realize is that I have too many Capricorn placements. Way too many. And so when I get upset, when I get mad, I shut down. And that's what I did the last couple of days. It was very weird to have a Thursday night where I didn't see you guys. It was very weird to have a Thursday night where I'm not up here doing Reiki. I cleaned the living hell out of my house. I have so many bags of clothes to go to the shelter, things like that. And in doing that, I found a lot of things that I had been missing, right? I found a lot of things that I had been missing. Hey, Whisper. And so I realized that I need you guys just as much as y'all think you need me. And I said think because, or as y'all need me. We're friends. Whether y'all realize it or not, we're friends. And I want to apologize to you because I feel like I've kind of let you guys down here lately with my content and so on. I have not been putting out the kind of content that y'all deserve, that I deserve to put out. Does that make sense? I feel like I have let you guys down because my attitude, my heart has not been in the right place. It hasn't. Since that shutdown, my whole attitude has been like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. Like I have felt defeated. I have felt let down. I have felt betrayed. I have felt like I am having to start all over. And during these last 2 days, I have realized a lot of stuff. And that's why I wanted to kind of apologize. Miss Misty, let me follow Misty over here. I wanted to kind of apologize to you guys because I have not been being the Bodhi that you needed me to be. I would like to say that that's a lot of weight to carry. And I'm not going to lie, when I first got on TikTok and when my account first started getting big and people were writing me letters and coming up to me at conventions and stuff and telling me, you know, that they were here because of me, that they found me at a time when they were at their lowest and so on and so forth. That's a heavy, heavy thing. That's a heavy, heavy thing to carry. And there was a lot of things and a lot of times that people would send me gifts or bring me something very personal of theirs. And I felt unworthy of those things. Okay. I felt unworthy of those things. One of the main things that changed me was, there's a gentleman that follows me on my accounts named Jeff Harris. Jeff has been following me, I think probably since I've been on here. Jeff sent me a crate, a 55-pound crate of stones. And these stones are not just, he sent me some insane pieces. And I cried opening this crate. I cried reading his 3-page letter. And I spent 2 days feeling 100% unworthy. I had imposter syndrome like nobody's business. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on right now? But I spoke to a friend of mine who is a horror actor. And what's funny is yesterday was his birthday. I spoke to a friend of mine at a convention a few weeks later. And I told him about this. And I said, I'm struggling with this because this was thousands of dollars of stones in this crate. There's a hunk of turquoise that I have that is this big that Jeff gifted me. And my friend's advice really hit me in the chest. And I'm not going to give you all of it because that was his advice to me. But I do want to tell you one thing about imposter syndrome, because this is when I hardcore had a talk with myself and stopped having the imposter syndrome. I'm not saying that it's completely gone because it does rear its head a lot. But I just have to like throat kick it and get it to go away. People are always in the right place at the right time. You are always in the right place at the right time. You might not think so. And you might have times and you're sitting there thinking, well, I was in a car wreck last week, or, you know, this happened or that happened or whatever. Right. You also have always been in the right place at the right time, for best friends to come into your life, for relationships, for jobs, for someone that you don't even know how you changed the trajectory of their life. Some people are meant to save one person, and some people are meant to save millions. And some of us fit somewhere nicely in between. So, my friends, for those of you guys that are still listening to me ramble a little bit, Imbolc is all about rebirth. It's about growth. It's about fertility, and it's about abundance. And it's for the upcoming spring. It is not lost on me that we had the January new moon on the 29th, the same day as the Chinese New Year started, which was only 3 days before Imbolc, which is still in the Chinese New Year, but Imbolc is renewal. And this is the year of the snake. Snakes are renewal, rebirth. If you think of a snake shedding its skin and becoming a new thing, leaving the old thing behind. This is also the year of the wood snake, which is grounding and earth and solid and being strong. As I'm saying that, that means something different to every single one of you. It means something different to every single one of you. For some of you guys, being strong is literally just making it through your day tomorrow, is making it through next week, being able to shuffle things to pay your bills. For some of you guys, it's carrying the weight of being the caregiver for people that they can't care for themselves. For some of you guys, it's just existing because you've lost so many people. And for other people, it's carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Strength is something different to everyone. Fertility, abundance is something different to everyone. For some people, $100 in their bank account would make a huge difference to them right now. And for some people, $100,000 would be life-changing money. For some people, none of that matters. Today and tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow, this is the perfect time for you to light a candle, for you to clear out anything at all that was in 2024, to carry all of those feelings, all of those bad, stupid, negative feelings, and throw them right in the fucking trash before the trash goes out this week. Write them down if you need to. There's a reason that you are who you are right now. I want you to listen to that again. Ready? There's a reason that you are who you are right now. You are fucking fantastic. Look how much you've lived through. Look how much you've overcome. Look how much you've walked through, whether your head was held high or your head was hanging down. You are exactly who you were meant to be in this moment right now. And the good thing about that, the wonderful thing about that, the epic thing about that is no single person can ever take that away from you. No one. No one. Even if you tomorrow, tonight, were to fall and hit your head and get amnesia and you didn't remember anything, no one would still take away all of the things you've done and lived through. That can never, ever be taken away from you. You are exactly who you were supposed to be. And sometimes you have to remember who you've been and why you were that person. So you can say, fuck you to all the haters again. So I'm just saying, maybe kind of, sort of, the old Bodhi is back. For those of you guys that are not familiar with the symbol on my hand, the other one will be here tomorrow. They will be here by Monday. For about 5 years solid, I kept this symbol on my hands. This is my soul retrieval symbol. In every single culture, the spiral is sacred. It is the journey from the self to becoming something more. Mine is a little different in that it has the line to the upper world and the line to the lower world and the steps to get there. I kept this in henna on my hands for 5 years before TikTok was even a thing. And I quit doing it. I got fed up with myself, to be honest. And I quit doing it. And then I was putting some stuff up the other day and I found the painting that August Moon did for me and brought when he came down to the shop. And in it, I have my hand up like this with the symbol on it. And I looked at it and I thought, bitch, what are you doing? Bitch, what are you doing? So, I'm just saying. Anyway, I felt like some of y'all needed that pep talk. I had that pep talk with myself this weekend. I watched several different videos on stoicism and some things that always kind of help me focus and say, you know, bitch, get the fuck back up. So yeah. I felt like some of you guys needed to hear that. I felt like all of you guys needed to hear that. Anybody that will watch this on YouTube apparently needed to hear that. I love you. I'm gonna tell TikTok over here, I love you. Whether I know you personally or not. Don't ever forget that you are exactly who you were supposed to be. And you always will be exactly who you were supposed to be. I love you, Miss Misty. When imposter syndrome starts to rear its ugly head, y'all remember, so my favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story. You know that part where he goes up to see Santa and he's at the top and he goes to slide down the slide and he comes up and he's like, no, and the Santa Claus goes, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. And he takes his foot and he taps him down. That in my mind is what I envision in my head when imposter syndrome rears its head up and is like, oh, you don't know nothing. Why are you doing this? Why are you wearing that? Why did you do this? Who do you think you are? When the imposter syndrome does that, in my head, that's what I picture. Is me going. And sometimes it takes more than 1 foot to the forehead before it goes away. But you guys need to find something like that that resonates with you. And every time that imposter syndrome pops up, you need to give it a happy, nice little shove. Okay? I'm not saying be conceited. I'm not saying that you are more special, more better than anybody else. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you some dad wisdom, okay? This is something my dad taught us whenever we were younger. You ready? No one is better than you, and you are not better than anyone else. No one is better than you, and you are not better than anyone else. If you look at life in that way, if you look at other people in that way, then you will see the world in a whole different light. We all shit the same way. We all fart in our sleep. We all get runny noses and have to put toilet paper in our nose when we're sleeping. I don't care how much money you have. I'm just saying. So, with that, let's start reading for Denice and all the people on my list for this evening. I really appreciate you guys joining me on both of these. It's interesting. There is almost exactly the same number of people watching on both of these. This is my backup account over here on TikTok. So those of you guys watching me over here, Please follow this account just in case. Just in case. All right. Ready? Denice, you had 2 cards come out like this on top of each other. All right. So these reads for Imbolc are to tell you, show you, explain to you what is being turned over and renewed in your life. Okay? So first you have go with the flow, and then underneath of that is inspiration. So the fact that this card is first tells me that it's been a little, I'm going to say weird. It's been a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of pause, a little bit of falling over backwards. It's been just weird. It's been just fucking weird for you lately. And sometimes we just have to go with it. Sometimes we just have to embrace the weird. Sometimes we just have to go with the flow. The fact that this card also has a ton of purple in it. Purple is traditionally a color that is associated with Imbolc and St. Bridget, which is why I'm wearing purple eyeshadow this evening. I also have purple in the corners of my eye, but you kind of can't really see it. I also have purple on my lashes. I did all the purples. But the fact that this has a lot of purple in the card, that's not lost on me. Especially since these are Celtic cards. There's a lot of things that you can't see around the bend in the river right now, Denice. Okay? There's a lot of things that you can't see right now. I promise that when you finally can see them, you're going to understand why all of this stupid shit happened. What was underneath that is inspiration. And notice that we went from a beautiful spring card to winter. This is the inspiration card. Inspiration can be found in so many places. It can be found in so many places. Inspiration can be found by watching a bug crawl on the ground. Inspiration can be found by watching a toddler play. Inspiration can be found in some deep, profound wisdom that hits you from somewhere. And inspiration can be found in the clouds. It can be found anywhere. As you're going with the flow, as you're paying attention to where life is taking you, take a deep breath and literally just kind of look around. And I know that everybody's like, take a deep breath and look around. Take a deep breath and look around. And it's so fucking cliche. But the thing is, how often do we actually follow that advice? How often do you actually follow that advice? Especially when shit is in turmoil around you. Do you take a deep breath and look around? Or are you almost hyperventilating because you can't breathe because there's too much? That's exactly the time to take a deep breath and then look around. The answer that you need, Denice, is right there in front of you. And the thing I want to point out is these cards all have a Celtic symbol in them. And this one, it's a little hard to see, but see down here where these are laid out like this, you can't make this shit up. Let me find it in here. Right there, she's standing on it. It is the exact same symbol in both of these cards. The next card you have is Grace. And this is something that, especially over the last couple of days, I have had to have a hardcore talk with myself. Sometimes when we have to go with the flow and the river starts to turn a little rapid and we really don't want it to be rapid, we would like it to be just chill, lazy river float time. We have to handle those rapids with grace. We have to handle those rapids with all of the grace we can muster. It can be really hard not to lash out. It can be really hard not to cuss everyone out, especially when shit is going on and going wrong. When you take that breath and you look at everything and you're looking at the inspiration, I want you to think about how you're going to handle this inspiration. Because this inspiration is going to inspire. It's going to inspire you as you come around that curve in the river to completely shift and change focus. Get ready for it. Because with that grace comes clarity. You've been asking for clarity. You've been asking for how to get everything back, how to move forward. You've been asking for the path. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. I have a feeling over the next month, your life is going to become so much more clear, and you're going to have a very, very interesting aspect and look as far as everything goes with your path and with everything. I'm just going to shuffle all those back in there like that. I hope that helps, Miss Denice. If you guys don't follow me on YouTube, please make sure that you do, okay? Miss Heidi G is next. And for those of you guys over here on YouTube, I love that Denice just said I'm Scottish. For those of you guys that are over here on YouTube, thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for supporting me over here. I will mention this before, well, wait, words, back up. I will mention this when I get back on my big account. I will mention it on Monday night and so on, but I am going to start doing a new series of videos. And, if y'all follow me on TikTok or on YouTube, then you already saw the video I released today. I don't know why. I felt stupid when I had this revelation. So Kay went to her dad's last night and I had the house to myself, right? It's the first time I've had the house to myself in a while. So I stayed up and cleaned. I stayed up late and cleaned. And then I curled up with the dogs and I started watching Resident Alien. So I was, it's weird. I can see the candle reflecting in the picture right there. And it just looked a little weird. I was like, wait a minute. So I started watching Resident Alien and I'm only in like the third episode. Well, I got up to go to the bathroom and I have like the ensuite. So my bathroom is in the master bedroom, right? So I closed the door to the bathroom and I heard something in the living room, right? And I thought, okay, it's just a dog. It's just one of my dogs, right? So I didn't think anything about it. And I get in bed, I'm watching TV, and my son had texted. And so I paused, and all of the dogs, I can physically see them, right? All of them are on my bed. And I hear something in the living room again. And my first reaction was to say, dude, I'm not in the mood for this tonight. Just be quiet. I'm tired, and I'm enjoying having the house to myself. And something fell off my kitchen counter. And then I got mad. And I was like, look, motherfucker, if you break shit in my house, you better fucking clean it up. And then it got really quiet. And so this morning I was getting around. I was going to film a get ready with me video, right? And I did. And I'll put it out tomorrow. But I realized that a lot of the furniture in my house is antique and came from estate sales or was gifted to me after someone passed away. Some of this stuff I had at the shop. And I thought, you know, maybe I should see which one of these pieces in my house it has the loud entity attached to it. So I actually have a vanity that is from, I think, what I was told sometime in the 1920s. And it is this gorgeous antique thing. So when I was getting ready this morning, I was filming, and I also was playing with a ghost app. And I got some very interesting things from it, and I can't wait to post it. I can't wait to post it. So that'll be out on YouTube tomorrow. All right, Miss Heidi, you ready? And the reason I decided to start doing some of this is because my manager has been booking me Paracons right and left. If you guys don't know what a Paracon is, that is just a paranormal convention. I am doing so many awesome, crazy things this year and going to some really intense places. And I know a lot of people see or hear about the places I'm going and they're like, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared? I mean, if I said that I wasn't scared about some of these places, I'd be lying. Okay. I'd be lying, but I'm not terrified. Does that make sense? I'm scared in the fact that it's always weird when something that is not there touches you. It's always weird when something says something and all of your hair stands up, things like that. Like I will tell you guys just a little secret, a little sneak peek. When I was filming this morning, I asked for the name of the person who this vanity belonged to, because I know the name of the person. I know the lady who owned it right before I got it. She passed away, and it belonged to her husband's mother. And it said, I'm gonna play that level. So wait till you guys hear some of the stuff that I caught in this. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah. All right. Let me shut up. Miss Heidi, heal thyself, divine connection, grace, and divine love. And I love that grace is it. Y'all saw me shuffle. Y'all saw me put this back in, and it's in the exact same spot. All right. So first you have heal thyself, Miss Heidi. I know that over this last year, I've done a lot of reads for you. I've done a lot of, like, I've met you in person a few times. I've sent you a lot of goodies. I've helped you with a lot of things. And I know that there's a lot of things going on. Okay, this is driving me up the wall, and I am going to check the cameras later. Because, okay. From my desk where I'm sitting, there's photos all down the wall of my staircase. Okay? All down the wall of my staircase. These are the ones I had hanging in the hallway of the shop, right? So they're autographs, they're photos of me and people and so on. Well, there's 3 down here towards the bottom that sit where they're angled. I have an altar in my living room that has a candle going on it right now, a big, huge glass candle, and it has some fresh flowers and stuff like that on it, right? So I can see out of the corner of my eye, I can see the flame dancing in the reflection of that, right? I legitimately just saw fucking something block that reflection completely out. I have cameras all over the place because I always catch shit. So I need to make sure that I remember at about 8:34, I need to go back and look at the cameras because something just completely blocked everything out. Like, I can see the flowers. I have a big thing with bamboo in it. I can see the mirror behind it. I can see the candle, and it all just blacked out. It all just completely blacked out. I love it. I love it. I love it. I may have counted this morning slightly, and I have 11 pieces of furniture in my house that came from estate sales or somewhere where I personally know the person that passed away. And I also have some other things in my house, like an electric chair handle and a papoose that has been redone. That's really, really old. I have some really interesting shit in my house. So yeah, now I can't stop looking over there because I'm like, do it again. Do it again. All right. Heidi's like, bitch, I would like you to just read my cards. I'd like you to just read my cards. If I catch it on my cameras downstairs, you know I'll post it. All right, Miss Heidi, heal thyself. I'm not going to say too much about this because I know you understand what this is. I am going to say a little bit though, and I'm going to try to be cryptic with it. As we go on our spiritual journey and as we're moving forward, there are times when shit hits us and we're like, oh God, I never ever thought of it that way. I never healed from that. I never paid attention. When we have loss, whether it is physically losing someone, they're no longer here, they're not alive anymore, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whatever it is, when we have a loss, there's a lot to process with a loss. It's not just, oh, I miss that person because they're not there anymore. There's anger, there's frustration, there's sadness, there's depression. There's so much that goes with it, right? There's so much that goes with it. I would advise you to listen to some of the things on YouTube that have to do with the teaching of Carl Jung, Jung. He talks a lot about shadow work and healing, and I think that would benefit you the most. Also, this has the tree of life carved into the tree. Next, you have divine connection. And I find it interesting that this lady looks almost exactly the same. And I mean, when I saw this, I was like, oh, wow, that looks a lot like Heidi. That looks a lot like Heidi, just with longer hair. It looks a lot like Heidi. When it comes to healing and when it comes to a rebirth, we start to feel really, really divinely connected to everything around us. And I really and truly believe that this is one of the things that is coming with this renewal with Imbolc for you. Because when we start to see that there's a lot of stuff that we haven't healed yet, we start to realize that we've been missing a divine connection. We get so bogged down in everyday life, and we get so almost drown under the weight of the world that we forget to take time to have that connection. We're so stressed about being able to pay bills, about being able to spend time with our family, with our friends, about just eating, about making sure we have time to do everything during the day, that we forget this. And the divine connection doesn't have to be to God or a goddess or any gods. It doesn't have to be to anything other than the divine connection that you have with your own self. When we go through too much, we can feel like we've been pulled apart, like we've been split. We can feel like there's two of us. There's the person that we put out. This is the person that we're trying to be. This is the person that is barely making it through the day. And then the person that is the divine connection that we have is back there somewhere. So you still have to connect to that divine part of yourself. Okay? Next, you have grace. I know that you're a tough cookie, and I know that you have a lot going on, and I know that you've been dealing with a ton of weight on your shoulders, Miss Heidi Poo. So I want to remind you that it's okay to take some time off. It's okay to back up a little bit. It's okay to tell everybody like, hey, I need some time because I need to reconnect with myself. It's okay to handle things in a manner that other people are going to say, oh, you're just shutting me out. Yes, I am. Because I need a break from everything. I think that would do you an amazing amount of good. And I know that everybody around you will understand that you need a complete 100% break for at least a couple hours, if not a whole day. Okay? Because that's where you're going to find this. That's where you're going to find this. And this is divine love. What's interesting about divine love is that this isn't always something from a god or goddess. Divine love comes from here. Divine love is the most pure form of self-love that we have. In treating yourself and your meat sack and your soul like a god, like a goddess, that is where this divine love comes from. And when we have other little humans that are paying attention to what we do, teaching those other little humans how to have this divine love and how to have this amazing practice of us being our own divine self, it's something invaluable to teach to youngins, to teach to our little minions. And by modeling that is the way that we do that. Okay. Johanna H, you ready? And what's really funny is, Zeus is downstairs, but the other 3 dogs are up here with me. Nobody noticed anything. Bear was laying at the head of the stairs, or the top of the stairs, whenever that happened, and he didn't even flinch. So, ready? Y'all watch me shuffle. Y'all watch me shuffle. I'm just saying. I saw somebody over on YouTube say that maybe this card was for the collective because it keeps coming out. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you. So you have grace, inspiration, prosperity, and practical intuition. You know what's funny? I decided to wear this ring tonight. I bought it in 2023. I've worn it maybe a handful of times because it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. And even wearing it, I just don't like it. So I think that it's just not mine, and I need to put it on the website. This is a huge piece of charoite. And yeah, I bought it from a jeweler at the fair several years ago. It was not a cheap ring, and so I've been trying to wear it, but I just can't. Trying not to take it off. I'm like, nope, wear it. But it may end up coming off. All right. So you start off with the grace card. I feel like here lately you've had this anger pent up inside of you, and every time you try to move forward, it's like you have some bully that just keeps pushing you right back down. They keep pushing you right back down. You get up and they push you right back down. And it's not ever like a hard slam on the ground, but it's enough that you have this anger being built up inside you that's starting to become a resentment. But what this grace card represents, what I'm going to tell you, sit there for just a minute. Sit there for just a minute. Your perception of the whole situation is going to change if you just sit there for a minute. Think about it. When you were a kid, how often did you lay on the ground and look up at clouds? How often were you looking up at trees? How often were you looking up at airplanes? How often were you looking up? How often were you looking up at people when you were little, when you were short? All the time, right? So why don't we look up now? Why don't we take the time to lay on the ground and look up at the sky now? Whenever the universe keeps just putting us on our butt, it's time to just sit there for a minute and look up. Just look up. Because the universe is trying to show you exactly where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to go. But you keep getting up. You keep, no, I want to be at this position. I want to be at this position. So I'm going to advise you to just sit for a minute and look up and look around you instead. Okay? Because that's where you're going to find this. This is the inspiration card. I think that this has a lot to do with money. I think that this has a lot to do with business, a side hustle, whatever it is. This has so much to do with you changing your perspective and you looking at things differently. So by just sitting on your butt for a little bit, you just sitting on your butt for a little bit, your whole perception of everything will change. Where you have felt like you haven't been able to be inspired, where you have felt like you haven't been able to move forward, all that's going to change. All that's going to change. Because I know what you're really working for is this. Is the prosperity card. What you're really, really working for is making sure that you have the security that you want and you deserve. And I think that this has always been just kind of right out of your reach for some reason. Always just like right here, just right out of your reach. Every time you reach for it, it moves. It just moves. And then the universe shoves you back. Instead of being angry, I want you to think of the universe as that loving grandparent that keeps telling you not to go out in the street, but you want to go out in the street. And then one day you realize in watching a little turtle or something go out in the street and get flattened that that's why they don't want you to go out in the street. I want you to look at all of these setbacks as that. Because this right here is exactly what's going to push you toward that. This inspiration is going to push you toward this prosperity, this financial security. This one has a much easier explanation because in looking at things in a completely different way and gaining this inspiration from looking up at things instead of paying attention and trying to push forward. Sorry, I was reading a comment over there. And trying to push forward, you're going to find that your intuition is so much stronger, is so much more on point than you ever gave yourself credit for. I don't think that all of that anger was really directed at the situation. The anger was kind of at yourself for not being able to see what was going on when your gut was telling you all the time. When your gut was telling you all the time. Does that make sense, Joanna? For those of you guys that are just finding me over there on TikTok, this is my backup account. This is the shop account that I really don't ever pay attention to and I don't use. You really spotted that anger so well. This resonated a lot. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm so glad I could help. All right, Miss Kathy Mazzell. I got to pick up my pace. We're going to be on here forever. I know I have wax reads on for tomorrow evening, but I may have to move those. Brody is flying in from Seattle tomorrow to pick up their stuff and drive back to Seattle. So I have to drive to Oklahoma City to get him because it's the only place he could get a flight into on short notice that wasn't going to cost him like $500. So I don't know what time I will get back from all of that tomorrow. So I will probably just move the wax reads till next weekend. But before I read from Miss Kathy, let me say this for those of you guys that are watching. It is the exact same number watching on TikTok as it is on YouTube. I've looked up so many times and it's been the exact same number. And that's just weird, but it's cool at the same time. Be prepared for me to be on a lot. Be prepared for me to be on so much. I'm just saying. All right, Miss Kathy. Heal thyself, clarity, divine connection, and big picture. No grace card. Oh, no. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. You have the heal thyself card. And this is exactly what it sounds like. For you, this is nothing spiritual. This is you physically. Okay? This is you physically. One thing I want you to think about is this. I know that everybody in your house has been really sick lately. I think everybody in everybody's house has been sick lately. I know that you've had some big physical things going on. I know that you've had a lot of things that have kind of knocked you down physically. You need to take some time and 100% make sure that you physically are okay. And if this involves getting a checkup, if this involves telling everybody to leave you fuck alone for a couple of days, whatever it is, if it involves you taking a break and staying in bed for 12 hours or 24 hours, whatever this involves, you really, really need to do it. You really, really need to do it. A lot of times, especially as a mom, we push forward so much and we know that there's something wrong with us. I rolled my eyes because this is the pot calling kettle black. We know that there's something wrong with us. We know that we haven't felt right for, a while. We know that we never get enough sleep. We know that we're always eating dinner cold. We know those things, but we don't do anything to change it. I want you to do something to change it. Okay? I want you to do something to change it. So I went ahead and turned my tickets off because I feel like I need to. I feel like I need to. There's a lot of things, Kathy, that you physically need to, I'm going to say it this way, and I hope this makes sense to you. Let settle. I don't know why I felt the need to say that there are a lot of things physically that need to settle, but they do. That is how you're going to be able to move forward spiritually, to continue to shift, continue to change, because you've been at a stopping point because your meat sack was like, all right, we're going to time out. We're going to time out. So your meat sack has been in a timeout. Let your meat sack sit on the bench for a little bit, okay? That's what's going to allow you to move forward. I promise you that when you spend the time to allow everything to settle and to allow yourself to get better, you're going to wake up so much more clear-headed. So much more clear-headed. And I have a feeling that this is something you've been missing for a while. You've been missing for a while. Also, I have a weird question for you, because as I'm talking about this, as I was talking about taking a break and healing thyself and gaining this clarity after you kind of feel a little better, it's what's up with the fluttery, the anxiety? What's up with that? Have you is this something new? Because I feel like this is a whole new feeling. I don't know if this is from the physical things that have been going on with you, but this is a whole level. I've read for you for a long time. So I don't know what this is, Kathy, but don't let that get the best of you. Okay? Once you get this clarity, this is when this divine connection comes in. This divine connection is, you remember when you first started really getting into your spiritual self? You remember when you first had that divine connection after a spiritual awakening? And everybody craves that feeling. You crave being able to feel like you are communicating with things again. You don't feel cut off. This clarity brings this back, this divine connection back. It brings back you wanting to practice, to do things again, not to just halfway like, okay, let me just throw some protections on here, before I drive down the road or whatever. No more of this like little just kind of half-ass thingy. So yeah. This is something that you've been lacking for a very, very long time, Miss Kathy. What I really love is the last card is the big picture. I don't think that this is a big picture you've been missing, okay? I think that this is the big picture for where you're going, right? For where you're going. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you coming in and pushing me up on the YouTube For You page. May the old gods bless you. I think that your big picture has shifted. Kathy. It's no longer what you thought it was. It's no longer the physical things as far as kids and a home and a house and job and financial security and the relationship and it's no longer that. It's no longer that. I can't wait to see what your big picture is, Miss Kathy Poo. I hope that makes sense, Kathy. You need to focus on yourself and allow your meat sack to get better, girl. Okay? I love that so many of you guys are coming across me over there on TikTok, and it's making me happy. All right, let's see here. I refreshed my list and it completely screwed everything up, and I know I've got one more first 5. There we go. V, you ready? Apparently so. Okay. Apparently so. Oh, thank you guys for tapping away over there. I had all these bracelets on, and now I just don't want them on. Now I just don't want them on. I'm just like, go over there. Go over there. Yes, thank you. For those of you guys that that subscribe to me on TikTok and now you can't, please come and be a member over on YouTube, okay? Just saying. All right, V. Divine connection. Clarity. Are you shitting me right now? Understanding. And heart healing. Okay. All right. So you start off with divine connection. What this tells me is you've had a very intense 2 weeks. You've had a very intense 2 weeks. Not only have you had an intense 2 weeks, but things have shifted and changed to the point that you have been waking up the last few mornings and kind of looking around and wondering where you are. I don't think that it's like, I feel like I'm in a different timeline. You just feel like you have shifted so much that you no longer fit in the same shoes and the same walk in the same path that you've been walking in. This happens so much when we go through a spiritual awakening. Well, once you start a spiritual awakening, you're never off of that train. But here's what I want to remind you of, okay? Because this is the most frustrating feeling. And I just want all of you to listen really, really carefully to this. When you hit that point where you feel like the path you're walking isn't the right path, it's almost like trying to wear shoes that are too small. When you start to feel like you're trying to wear shoes that are too small, walking on your path, it means that you've grown, you've leveled up. This is exactly the time to start reconnecting to the things that you had been connecting to. Go back to the foundations of your spiritual practice. Because, and here's what's funny. This is in every single religion. Every single spiritual practice. When you level up, you start with the foundations all over again. You start with the foundations all over again. You level up, you start with the foundations. What's the first thing you do? You give thanks. You ask for enlightenment. You pray. You make an offering. Whatever it is, you connect to the divine. Just saying. You connect to the divine. Oh, hi, old man. Now all 4 of the doggies are up here. When you connect to the divine, when you start to reutilize, that is so bright. When you start to reutilize, I don't know who just hit their head over here. Are you okay, Chimu? Is that you noggin? Are you okay? That was a hard noggin smack. You all right, biggin? Yeah, you good? You okay? Hey, sorry. You okay? Oh, there. Yeah. Yeah. Lay down. Lay down. Yeah. That was a hard noggin smack. Hey, hop down. You're not supposed to be up here. He wants all the lovin's. Are you going to be that dog now? You're going to knock my stuff over. Hop down. Hop down, Chimu. Good boy. He's muy bueno. Yes. See. See. Yes. Yes. Okay. When we reconnect to the divine, when we reconnect to our foundations, and we start to feel that magic again, we also start to gain clarity again. We also start to gain clarity again. And when we start to gain clarity again, then we start to understand why everything has been happening the way it's been happening. We have those epiphany moments where we're like, oh my God, if I actually had got that job, or if I had started dating that person, or if I had gone on that trip, this would have happened, and that would have happened, and that would have happened. But I didn't, and so I'm here, so now all of these things can happen. We start to get this crazy, intense understanding after we continually have these moments of clarity, after we have this divine connection from going back to the basics. And that allows this to happen. This is the heart healing card. This is the heart healing card. So, there's a lot of things that go with a spiritual awakening. There's a lot of things that happen to crack, to get broken whenever we're on a spiritual path. Well, with just life in general, but more so when you're on a spiritual path, because when you're on a spiritual path, when you have a spiritual awakening, you no longer feel like you need to go on social media and troll people just to be a dick. You no longer feel like you have to have validation of somebody acknowledging that you exist because you made a shitty comment. You no longer have to stress about trying to come up with a better troll comment than the things that I've heard in being on social media. Just saying. When it comes to a spiritual awakening, there's so much that goes into our self-worth, our self-healing and shadow work, that we become a different person on a continual basis. V, you're not the same person. You're not the same person. You will never be the same person. You're a much bigger, better, badass version of V than you ever were. Okay? All right. Let me refresh this. And then I have 9 more to go, and I'm going to do them in alphabetical order from here. So let me give you my list really quick. And yeah, I lied. I have 11 more to go. That's weird. Okay. So Acacia, did I say that right? Acacia. Jacob, Jennifer, Kelly C, Kimberly, Lesa, Monica, Niki, Sherri, Suzanne, and Tamra. Oh, good. I did say it. I did say it correctly. That's really, really a pretty name. Like, it sounds like some crazy, like, warrior princess name. And then apparently we're just going to throw cards. Thank you, Jimmy. No, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You didn't have to get up. You didn't have to get up. Yep, that one threw first. No, that one goes first. Okay. So Chimuelo is Ali's dog from Ecuador. And he and Daki have been staying here with me while they went up there. So yeah. Him's a good boy. Him's a good boy. All right. Ready? If you didn't hear your name on my list, don't stress. I will refresh here in just a minute, okay? I'll refresh here in just a minute. But know that I'm gonna go in alphabetical order. Healing grief. That's why that had to go first. The one you threw in the floor was understanding, which I now find very interesting. Then you have clarity, and then you have grace. Of course you have grace. Of course you have grace. All right. I have something poking me in the eye. It's driving me up the wall. So you start off with healing grief. The reason that those things in 2024 were obliterated from your path, were let go of, they're no longer in your life. The reason that you feel like nothing makes sense right now is because you have to grieve those losses. You have to grieve those losses. Okay? And I want you to think of it in this way. There's that old saying that, Rome wasn't built in a day. But we've heard, a lot of, us older people, I guess, have heard that so much. But here's the thing. All of those things were a part of you for so long. That job, that friend, that relationship, that family member, whatever it is, all of those things were a part of you. It's like getting a brand new car, but you have to trade in your old car. But you had that old car for like 10 years. And there's a decade of your life in that car. There's vacations. There's so many trips back and forth to work. There's friendship. You had your first date with your spouse in that car. There's so many things that go into that particular car. And while you're super excited to get a brand new car because you need a new car, because this one it's not running right. It's got like 200 and something thousand miles on it. And you just have to have a new car, right? And so you're so excited, but at the same time, you feel really bad. You have to grieve the loss of that car. You have to grieve the loss of letting go of that part of your life. It's just like when we walk away from a job, okay? Maybe you had a job and you were at this job for like 3 or 4 years, right? And it was the worst environment. It was the worst working environment. You did make a couple of good work friends and you're still friends and so on. But it was the worst toxic work environment and you couldn't wait to find another job. You're so excited to go to this other company and just not be in there anymore. But that job was still a part of you for 3 years, right? You still have to grieve that loss. And I'm going to advise you to really feel the feels of letting go of those things that are still in 2024 and leave them in 2024. Okay? Feel the feels, feel the emotion, feel all of the things, but in feeling those feels, but allowing that stuff to stay in 2024, it's going to bring you a lot of understanding of where you've been and why you've been there. Sometimes we don't see why we were in certain situations with certain people, around certain people, making friends with certain people until those people are no longer in our life, until they're no longer in our path. Whether it was to teach us a lesson, whether we were teaching them a lesson, whatever it is. So really take a look and pay attention at, take a look at and pay attention to words. What you feeling the feels of all those losses really brings, because that clarity that goes with all of that is priceless. It's priceless. And when that clarity hits you, it's like, I mean, it literally a smack in the face. A smack in the face. Acacia, I just want you to know that somebody on TikTok just said, I don't know whose reading this is, but thank you. It resonates. I felt like you needed to hear that because you make a difference more than you realize that you do. This clarity hits you like a smack in the face. And sometimes it does knock us on our ass a little bit, but it also makes everything around you brighter. It makes everything shift for the better, which allows you to be this, to be grace. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that this involves a relationship and a friendship. The relationship is something that it hit you really hard when it happened, and it hit you really hard to let it go. And the friendship is something that drifted apart and then had an explosion. Am I correct? You have to grieve those losses. You have to grieve those losses. And I feel like I need to tell you this part. And I don't feel like you're the only one that needs to hear it. Don't waste your time arguing with someone or defending yourself against a rumor. Because people are going to always believe what they want to believe. And if you simply say, if you don't know me better than that, then you should believe every word and be graceful and leave it at that, it will stop those people from talking about you. It will stop those rumors from getting all the way to you. And it will make people think. Not everyone. Some people will go, oh, it must be true. And they'll go run and they'll go do all their little stupid gossipy things. And when they do, because you'll know, as hard as it is, take a breath and just say that, just feel bad for them. You've grown, you've moved forward, and you're looking at life with a whole new, clear set of eyeballs. And they are not there, and they won't ever be there. Okay? Hope that made sense, love. Bless you. That was a big sneezes. All right, Jacob, you ready? And by the way, so many people over here on TikTok were saying that they needed to hear that. I feel like you just reviewed my entire 2024. Thank you. You're welcome. You apparently weren't the only one that needed to hear those things. All right, Jacob, you ready? Y'all, I want you to be proud of me. I only have 2 drinks. I only have 2 drinks instead of my normal 4. I only have 2. I have, it's so weird. I have been slowly weaning myself off of pop, right? And I just randomly last week, I just looked over and the cat is staring at me around the corner. Don't be creepy, Vlad. Creepazoid. Just like half his little face. He's just like, creeper. And So I haven't had one. I've been dealing with the headache. So that's been great. That's been fun. It's great. It's fun. It's fantastic. It's great. It's fun. It's fantastic. Why are you being creepy? Don't be a creepy cat. All right, ready, Jacob? Responsibility and transformation. Ow! Nurture and clarity. Boy, you went from creepy to mean. The freak, Holmes. So you have transformation and then responsibility is underneath it. So let's talk about this. Okay? Imbolc is bringing you a really interesting transformation in your life. And to be honest, I feel like this is something in your gut you feel coming. Like there's an excitement and there's also an anxiety, like a nausea feeling there. Because you know that this shift, this change, this movement is coming. I also think that this is something that you've been asking for, this transformation. This isn't something that is going to happen to you. It's something that's going to happen in you. And I have a feeling that this has kind of been, it's been in the making for a while. Hey, I can't concentrate when you're doing that. And I'm going to need you to get down off of that painting. Come here. Fly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to need you to get down and not say You aren't supposed to be up there. You aren't supposed to be in those boxes. And you aren't supposed to be on my paintings. Okay? I love you. And I'm so glad that you decided to come and be social. But I'm going to need you to stop being an ass. Okay? All right. I love you. I love you. You want to snuggle up with me later? Yeah. Yeah, I love you. Okay. All right. Go be a good kitty. Okay? Go be a good kitty. Don't be surprised if this transformation is kicked off from one single sentence in a class. One single sentence. I don't know if this is going to be like a psychology class, sociology class, whatever, or if this is literally going to be a coding class. But one single line is going to change everything. It's going to cause a massive transformation within you. And what's interesting is it also, like, because this one was like this, it also is going to bring this responsibility with it. I think that, okay, so this responsibility is not some big, crazy, massive thing you've got to undertake. What this is you asking the universe for what path you're supposed to be on. And I have a feeling that this has to do with school, okay? I don't know if this is because you haven't made a complete decision on what you want to do when you grow up. I don't know if this is because you have to make a choice of, do I learn this or this first? Or I don't know, whatever this is. But it's like an instant moment of clarity of you realizing, oh my God, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to go. And this responsibility has to do with you having that realization and putting the steps in place to get there. I don't think that this is some little teeny tiny thing. I don't think that this is just like, oh, I just want to go to work for, some company and just do the, not that there's a bad thing with that, but you know what I'm talking about? There's always those people in school that they're just getting the degree just so they can stay in one place. This is a really interesting niche job, and this is a big responsibility to learn all of the things in the amount of time that you need to learn them. make sure that you're nurturing every bit of this responsibility. Being in school is hard enough, but putting in the work to stand out from other people is also equally important. Putting in the work to be a part of groups and clubs and actually talk to people and do the people-y things and so on. When this sentence hits and when this responsibility happens and you think, okay, that's what I want to do. Once you set your mind to it, the universe is going to put you in the right place at the right time to see all of the people that will push you forward along this path. There's going to be times when you may just be sitting and having lunch by yourself and you don't think anybody is paying attention to you. And suddenly someone walks up that's in a class, or like, oh, so-and-so, hey, I'm so-and-so. We have this class together, or, hey man, what's up? Whatever. And they're like, hey, I'm going here. You should come. Go. Because the universe is going to nurture this responsibility and nurture where you're going, so it can always put you where you need to be. Go with them, okay? If someone invites you to go somewhere, go, okay? Especially if it has anything to do with the classes that you're in, the people that you know, etc. Just go, okay? Because that's what's going to provide you the clarity of why that sentence made such a big impact on you. And you're going to have to, in about 6 months, let us know. Because I can't wait. I don't think you realize where your path is leading you. I think that when you enrolled in school and you started down this learning, this career path, whatever you want to call it, we all have big hopes and dreams when we start learning stuff, right? We all have big hopes and dreams when we go to school. But yours are fixing to shift. Just saying. Yours are fixing to shift. The thing that you're supposed to accomplish is something that's going to change a lot of people's lives. Just saying. Jennifer Mason. For those of you guys that are just now joining me over here on TikTok, yes, this is my only backup account. This is why I can safely say that when all of the Bodhi, Bahati, the purple Bodhi, the yellow Bodhi, the blue Bodhi, whatever, 97, 44, 52 hut, when all of those are following you, it is not me, because my only backup account is Bodhi's Apothecary in Spiritalia. So yeah, this is my only backup account. All right, Jennifer, you ready? I should have pulled that card up. Okay. I think you somewhat already know what it is. Oh, I love that. Well, you're going to have to come and tell us. All right. Freedom. Healing grief and understanding, and clear aura. Okay. So weird to have one piece of hair that like keeps going. This is why I keep messing with my shirt, because it just keeps going down my shirt and tickling like right there underneath my pendants and it's driving me up the wall. All right. So you start off with freedom. Then these two came out together and you have understanding, and then healing grief underneath it, and then clear aura. Somebody's talking about me. I want to point out specifically on this card that the stone is encircled in plants and rocks and bushes. We all think that freedom is this unbridled driving with the top down, Thelma and Louise style, and just doing whatever the hell we want to do. Sometimes most of the time, that's what we believe freedom is. We believe freedom is not having any responsibilities, no one to answer to, etc. But in your case, freedom is something completely different. Freedom is boundaries. Freedom is boundaries. When we don't set boundaries, when we have so many people that take advantage of us, that walk all over us, and a lot of times we're the ones that give them that power to do those things. When we don't have boundaries or enough boundaries, we get stuck, and we can't get out of that being stuck. Because here's the best way I can explain it. Let's say you go to the beach, okay? And you take all this time. You're there for hours. You set up a big umbrella and you build this gorgeous sandcastle, right? It's gorgeous. It's like 5 feet tall and it's like 5 feet around, and this gorgeous sandcastle. But you didn't build a moat around it. You didn't build a wall around it. You could have put some rocks around it to protect it from the tide, and you didn't. So after a few hours, you realize that the tide's coming in, right? And you're like, oh, it'll be okay. It won't get up this high. I'm just going to finish this up here. And you still don't put those boundaries in place. Eventually, that tide is going to come in. And when that tide comes in, it's going to damage the walls. It's going to damage all of those amazing things that you just built with that sandcastle. But if you would just put a moat in, the water would have somewhere to go. If you would just put a wall around the inside of the moat, when the moat started to get overfilled, it would come up against the wall. Boundaries are freedom. Boundaries are freedom. Because when we set healthy boundaries, it takes all of the pressure and the people off of your plate that have been doing nothing but continuing to siphon energy, hold you back, etc. When you first start setting boundaries, people are not going to like it. And you're going to get really, really lonely because of it. I'm not going to lie. When you first start setting boundaries, you get lonely because all the people that suddenly they depended on you, they love you, they're always around. When you set boundaries, a lot of those people are going to disappear. A lot of them are going to disappear because they were the reason you needed to set those boundaries. They were the reason that someone was siphoning your energy, that someone was taking advantage of you and getting all the money they could, whatever it was. So Jen, set boundaries. Set all of the boundaries, okay? And stick to them, because that right there is your freedom. And I kind of already touched on this a little bit. This understanding is going to come when you set these boundaries and you see the people that suddenly have a problem with your boundaries. When you see the people that have a problem with your boundaries, when you see how many people suddenly don't want to talk to you or hang out with you, or they just trail off into the distance, you're going to understand exactly who it was that was siphoning everything out of your life. And notice that she's by herself on the bridge. I'm just saying. Notice that she's by herself on the bridge. Spring is going to be interesting for you because, and what I love is that almost every one of these cards that I drew for you has flowers. This is the only one that doesn't. And this is the healing grief card, okay? And this was under this understanding. Take time to grieve those relationships. Take time to grieve letting go. Take time to grieve all of the things that you let go of with those boundaries. Does that make sense? Take time to just be by yourself. Just be by yourself for a little bit. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. And it does have to do with this, okay? When you set boundaries and you realize that you by yourself can do anything you want to do. And I don't mean just lay around in your underwear and eat ice cream, or, you know, go to McDonald's at 2 o'clock in the morning, or, you know, not do everybody else's laundry, whatever it is. Okay. When you realize that you by yourself can accomplish anything, you can figure out how to mow your yard, or you can hire someone to do it. You can figure out how to start a business without having to worry about anybody else. You can figure out how to go to school. You can do all of these things without having to have anybody attached to it or behind you or whatever. When you start to realize that you as you are so much more powerful when you have healthy boundaries and you spend time by yourself doing self-care and allowing you to be you, it is the most intoxicating, freeing thing ever. On purpose, whenever I got divorced, I had been married for 15 years. When I got divorced in 2019, when I left, I made myself be alone. Now, don't think I didn't date a little bit, because I did. But every time someone would want to get serious, I just had to say no. I just had to say no. And when I finally, after a year, was like, okay, you know, I actually have somebody that's really decent in my life and so on. When that relationship ended, I made myself stay single again. And it was almost 2 years before I finally decided to really start being serious with someone. And at this point now, it's been over a year that I've been single again. Because by forcing myself to be alone for so long, at this point, I could really give a shit if I ever date anybody again. Because I have learned that I really like myself. I really like how I keep my house clean. I really like how the dishes are always done. I really like how my bathroom's always clean. I really like not having to do anything for anyone else unless I want to. And I know that sounds very, very selfish, but my kids are both grown. I also like that I'm not responsible or feel like I'm responsible for anyone else's energy. And that's something, unfortunately, that the world teaches us that we should do. Especially as a woman, you're responsible for this person's happiness. You're responsible for doing all the things that make all these people happy. And as a man, you're responsible for being the protector. You're responsible for their safety. I don't know what's worse, being responsible for someone's safety or for their happiness, because you really kind of can't. If somebody's going to be stupid, they're going to be stupid. And if they're going to be stupid, they're going to get hurt. It just happens. If somebody wants to be sad, they're going to be sad, and you can't do anything about it. Clear all of that shit out. Clear your aura. And yes, I literally mean clear your aura. Go sit in a nice hot Epsom salt bath with some rose, some sea salt, and just enjoy. Just enjoy. Okay? Go forward with boundaries. Go forward being Jen. And nothing else. And I'm glad that made sense to you. I saw your comment. I'm glad that made sense. Oh, okay. I was like, oh, no, it just, I just clicked Kelly's name. Kelly C, you're next. But I just clicked Kelly's name, and then all of a sudden the thing jumped, and I just about had a heart attack. I just about had a heart attack. You are so welcome, Jen. All right. Kelly C, you ready? I love that so many of you guys on YouTube have been becoming really self-reliant. I'm proud of you. It is hard. It's hard because every single place that you look, as a woman, you're told you need to be in a relationship because you need either someone to nurture or you need someone to protect you. And as a dude, you're told you need to be in a relationship because you need someone to protect and provide for. You need friends. You've got to have friends. You've got to have friends. You've got to have a family. You've got to have this. You've got to have that. You've always got to have people. You know what one of my favorite things to do is? Go eat by myself. I'm not going to lie. It is one of my favorite fucking things to do is go eat by myself. Because sometimes I don't want to do anything. I don't want to listen to anybody. I just want to sit and I want to shovel shit in my face. I want to shovel shit in my face. That's what I want to do. I don't want to talk to anybody. And it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things to do. So, for those of you guys over on TikTok asking why I'm not on my main account, I am going to encourage you to go watch the video, the top video that's pinned on my account, and you will understand why. I will see you back on that account live on the 5th. But I want you guys to go watch that video because it's bullshit. All right. Kelly. Ready? I haven't even turned it over yet. Make sure you follow me here. Make sure you follow me on YouTube. Transformation. Divine love. Go with the flow. And self-acceptance. Okay. All right. Kelly. Get ready. Get ready. Because when transformation happens, and I have a feeling that it's going to hit you really, really hard, probably within the next 3 to 4 days. I don't think this is a huge loss. I don't think this is anything. This is nothing bad. Okay. This, to be honest, I have a feeling comes in the form of a dream. It comes in the form of almost like a clairvoyant vision. And you're going to wake up in the morning kind of wondering if you're in the right timeline. It's one of those dreams that is so realistic that you wake up and you're like, I don't know what's going on right now. You know that dream when you're in a relationship, you're literally laying next to the person and you know damn well that they've not done anything, but in the dream, they just cheated, they left, they had 9 kids with somebody else, they like stole all your shit, and You know what I mean? And you wake up and you're like, motherfucker, and you just want to hit them, but you know damn well it was a dream, and they didn't do anything, but you're still mad at them the rest of the day. That's this kind of dream, okay? That's this kind of dream. This is going to be one of those dreams where you're going to wake up and wonder which one actually was the dream. Okay? This is going to start a major transformative spurt in your life. When this dream happens, I want you to get out your voice recorder on your phone, and I want you to blur everything possible into that voice recorder, okay? Get everything out, even if you got to go back and twist and turn the story or whatever you got to do, get all of it out on that voice recorder, okay? I don't care if you do it while you're taking your morning pee-pee. I don't care if you do it while you're making your morning coffee. I don't care. It has to be done the very first thing when you wake up, because it is going to be such a transformative moment. And I think because I'm telling you this right now, you're going to realize that it's a transformative moment, but you're not going to realize how big of a transformative moment it's going to be. This transformative moment is also going to make a major shift in who you are. I have a feeling that you've had a lot of interesting signs and symbols and numbers and flowers come across your path repeatedly. And you've kind of been like, all right, I know that all of this is something. All of this is a sign. I don't know why it's a sign, but it keeps fucking popping up. Yeah. Because you have a deity poking at you. You have a deity poking at you. And I have a feeling that A, this is a female, and B, this is a deity that's considered a triple goddess. This is not Hecate. This is a deity that's considered a triple goddess that is poking at you. Almost in a motherly way, like to be able to hold you and nurture you and work through a whole bunch of shit. So this is a very protective deity, a very protective goddess, that is going to help you move through some of this transformative aspect, because this right here, this go with the flow card, when this transformation happens and you realize what deity this is, and to be honest, I don't think it's going to be but a couple of days after this big crazy dream happens that you're going to be like, holy shit, it's so-and-so. When you realize that a deity is kind of poking at you, wanting to help you with something or wanting you to work with them, it's a very humbling experience. It's a very humbling experience, because we think of gods and goddesses as untouchable, and they're not. They are and they're not. Let me say it that way. They are and they're not. But when you have one that you personally get an answer from, that you personally have talked to you and so on, it makes you feel humble and special and amazing and scared all at the same time. They also will start just putting shit in your path for whatever it is that you need to be doing, because there's something specific that you need to be doing once this transformation happens, once this starts, and they're there to kind of help you and guide you on that path. So just put your floaties on and just roll with it, right? Ride down the river. It's going to feel at times like you are on the lazy river and it's just slow and there's nothing happening, and then rapids, and then slow, and then rapids. Like it's just insane. But it's an awesome insane. It's an awesome insane. I don't know if this is something you've been asking for, or if it's something, I don't think it's something you've been asking for. I think it's something you've been putting off. I think it's something you've been putting off. The cat's on the table messing with the bag, and I'm trying to ignore him. This self-acceptance, I think that you know that you have a role you're supposed to be playing. You have a path you're supposed to be on. You have all kinds of things that you're supposed to be moving towards. And while I know you want to do it, you want to move towards it, I think that it kind of terrifies you a little bit. I love that. Okay, it's good tears, right? He said, oh my God, I'm literally in tears. I needed to hear this. Okay, it's good tears. There's something you're supposed to be doing. There's a path you're supposed to be walking on purpose, but it scares the shit out of you. And you also need to be walking really tall in this path. You can't be just kind of like shrinking yourself down and just trying to kind of trudge along. You have to be walking really tall in this path. And so that's also why this deity, this particular goddess, is coming in, because she is a self-empowerment powerhouse. And by her being there and guiding you and helping you and nurturing, it's going to bring in this amazing self-acceptance, which is going to put you in a place that you've never ever been. That you've never ever been. This powerful, like, internal self-power that is going to help you with this. This transformation is going to be a complete multiple 360 for you. Like, it's going to be constant turns around like this. Turnarounds, turns arounds, turns arounds. It's going to be constant shifting, constant movement, constant circling. But what I love about it is when you finally, I don't even think you're going to know. Oh, Lord. So I just got my live restricted because it says that I am trying to promote a service. Yeah, let's go ahead and my live does not contain whatever, because I was holding the card up too long. Whatever. TikTok, you can suck my ass. When you hit this phase, you're going to walk down this path so tall for so long that you're not even going to pay attention until you just have this epiphany moment. And it's going to be something like you have to pay an old bill or something. And you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, I've gone that far. Holy shit. I think that this year is going to be such a major transformation for you, Kelly, that I don't even think you can fathom the amount of transformation that's fixing to happen. Just so you know. Just so you know. Sir, you just snagged my shirt. Ah. I don't like it. I like your reading. I didn't like that. He just snagged my shirt. And then poked me in the leg real hard because he's a jerk. They've been worse this time around. Like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had that happen before because I held a card up too long. But I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, just. Yeah. You are so welcome. And I love you right back, sweetheart. All right. Kimberly H. Yeah, I've seen way too many creators on TikTok posting stuff about, okay, Kimberly, boom, 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 about having a video removed, having their live restricted. Like, it's just been insane. And the other part of me, here's my take on this. A, I'm going to say it again that we all got grifted. But B, there's so many of us that our living comes from TikTok. Our business is on TikTok. And so when it gets to the point that they're continuing to do this, like people can't resubscribe, people can't gift. So your main source of income is coming off of TikTok and it's doing this repeatedly. I think that they're weaning us off of it and getting us to do business elsewhere. Does that make sense? I really, really feel like whatever happens from here, TikTok only had 75 days from the inauguration date. Trump only gave them 75 days. And so they're literally weaning us off of it. That's 2.5 months. So February 20th, March 20th, probably the 1st of April, April Fools, which is even funnier. Fool me once, right? And the thing is, I think that a lot of people aren't even really paying attention, and they're going to get blindsided again. They are making us hate it. Niki is completely right. Niki is completely right. So yeah. All right. Kimberly. Let me refresh my list real quick, and I'll make sure I have everybody's name on here, because I know I need to add Tosh to this. All right. So Kimberly is next, then Lesa, Monica, Niki, Sherri, Suzanne, Tamra, and Tashana. Tashana, you get to go last, but not least. All right. Ready? All right. Nurture. Creativity. Boundaries. And awareness. I think this is a good enough time to mention, because I haven't mentioned it yet, and I usually mention it on each live. For those of you guys that are watching on either my backup TikTok account or over here on YouTube, and you're new to watching me, we don't talk about other creators in here, especially in a negative light. We don't talk politics in here. And if you want to be a dick, move on. If you want to be stupid, move on. If you want to come in and say trolly things or say creepy things, move on. Even creeps don't like creeps. Even creeps don't like creeps. It took me a long time to curate the following that I have on TikTok, and to curate not hardly any trolls. And I know that I'm now redoing this over here on YouTube. But that doesn't mean it's going to be tolerated. It does not mean it's going to be tolerated. So if you come in and you're creepy and one of my mods doesn't get you, I will. And if you have a problem with it, you are more than welcome to message me or my website, and I will tell you the exact same thing. Don't be a fucking creep. Don't be a fucking creep. All right, Kim. So first of all, you have the nurture card. I'm going to show you all of these because, yeah. Then you have creativity. Then you have boundaries. And then you have awareness. I almost said something different. You have awareness. These first two cards go together hand in hand, the nurture and the creativity part. Normally I would hold the cards up a lot more, but apparently TikTok thinks I'm trying to sell something without saying I'm selling something. It's stupid. The nurture and the creativity part. Dude, you are not giving yourself enough credit for the sheer amount of artistic talent that is rattling around in here. And I don't think that this means that you need to sit down and paint a masterpiece in oil work or whatever. I don't think that this is you creating this mural on the side of a building that people are going to come from near and far to see. What this is you nurturing your own personal creativity in your life. It does have to do with a little bit of art, whether it's sculpting, whether it's, why do I feel like it's dip painting something? I don't know. Whether it's painting, whatever it is, there's something that you do that you've almost like pushed yourself away from it, like distanced yourself for some reason. And to be honest, I don't think it's for any reason other than you've just gotten busy. You've just gotten busy. I love that. You've been drawn back to your poetry lately. You've just gotten busy. I'm going to encourage you to nurture that creative streak. Why is my nose itching? Somebody is talking about me. Dude, stop. Read some poetry books. Read some poetry books. if you've been getting drawn back into poetry, read some poetry books. Read some of your old favorites, the things that drew you into poetry to begin with. Listen to some very old poets. Listen to some new poets. Pay attention to how each style, from really old poetry to brand new modern poetry, is different and the same at the same time. Nurture that creativity. Pick it back up. Because I think that one of the reasons this boundary card has come up is because you moving away from that poetry was like you slowly giving up parts of yourself. I used to paint all the time, and I used to paint songs, and I've really been pulled into doing it again. Your writer's block came and you dropped it for years. When we start to distance ourselves from something that was a part of us, that made us us, it's almost like putting our inner child to bed and grounding them to the room. So not only did we just tell our inner child, you can't play with words anymore, not right now, I need you to go to your room, but never giving them a release date. You know, you're grounded for whatever time I decide you're grounded for. We allow the world to twist and turn and pull us in the taffy puller to the point that we forget that we have to set boundaries with the world and then set boundaries with ourselves. And sometimes boundaries with the world have to do with, like I didn't watch the news for years. I would here and there, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't sit and have the news playing for hours. And I did for a long time, especially with the inauguration. I watched that and stuff, and I thought, you know, I haven't been paying attention to what's been going on, and I need to. Yes, we need to, but we need to set boundaries with the world as well. I can watch the news for 5 minutes and then take a look at, you know, what's going on in the newspaper, and I can get a pretty good overview of things. And if there's something else I want to know about, then I can know about it. But you have to set a boundary with the world, because when we let too much of the world in, it tends to get overwhelmed with the bad. It tends to have, the world tends to just overwhelm us with the bad shit. And we forget to see the good shit. We forget to pay attention to those videos that we used to love. Those, like seeing the documentaries of places around the world that we may never get to go to. Listening to poets from centuries ago. Because the world is overwhelming us. So set that boundary and then heighten your own awareness of the things that make you you. The little poet Kim needs to be ungrounded and needs to get back out into playing in the mystic aspects of the world again. One of the things I love so much about YouTube, and I have always loved this about YouTube, there are so many tours, I'm just going to say that, of spaces that I know I will never get to go, right? I am never going to climb Mount Everest. It's never a desire. I've never wanted to climb Mount Everest. But being able to see from the top of a mountain that I will never go to is glorious. Being able to see sunken temples. I can't swim. and I'm terrified of the water. I love the water, but I'm terrified of the water. I am probably never going to learn to scuba dive. Okay, I'm not ever going to learn to scuba dive, but seeing these sunken temples and these amazing places and letting my mind run free about, you know, what did I think that civilization did? That's the Kim that needs to come out. That's the Kim that needs to come out. That's the Kim that's going to find that awareness and reinvigorate and nurture this creative aspect. And I can't wait to see what you write. I can't wait to see what you write, Kim. Have you ever published anything? You totally should if you haven't. Gives us the break we need. I lost her when my parents died in 2021. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. In a small book. I used to write a lot of poetry during COVID. I'm just saying self-publishing is a fantastic thing, y'all. During COVID, I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot. A lot of my poems have to do with synesthesia, and how things look to me and so on. And I forgot all about that until the other day. I was pulling something for my manager, and I had to pull things. There's actually a book I wrote that I forgot I wrote, and it's called The Sky is Green, the Grass is Pink, and it's all about epilepsy and how people see the world during certain types of seizures. Some of us see the world during certain types of seizures. And I started kind of reading some of those poems again and looking at some of the artwork I created. And I was like, holy shit, why haven't I been painting? Why haven't I been painting? So, girl, I would love to read some of your stuff. I would love to read some of your stuff. So, send me links, okay? I would love to read it. All right, Lesa G, you ready? Prosperity. Who doesn't want their reading to start off with prosperity? Communication, clarity, and transformation. All right. I would love that. Yes, yes. Please, please send it. Please send it. All right. So you start off with prosperity, but not in the way you think. Your prosperity is already here. Your prosperity is already here. I'm going to encourage you this weekend to make a list. To make a list of the things in your life right now, this week, this moment, that are good. Imbolc is a celebration of the coming spring. It's a celebration of, it started as a celebration of seeing that the lambs, the sheep were pregnant, that the sheep had little babies growing in them, and the upcoming prosperity of having all of these baby sheep, thus more wool, more milk, etc. And so even though that baby's not here yet, and you can just barely see that mama sheep is pregnant, knowing that that baby is coming, knowing that that's prosperity, that's abundance, that's fertility, that's more. This is a perfect time to really pay attention and look at all of the things in your life that are good. That are good. I have a roof over my head. I have a job. I have a car. I have friends. I have family. I have food. Just go, start with the big things and then start on some small things. You know, one of the things that I'm always grateful for are my animals. And I know people say that all the time. Oh, I don't know where I'd be without my dog. And some people roll their eyes and stuff like that. But we don't realize, in traveling around a lot over the last few years, I've really realized that my animals are really special to me. They're really special to me. For almost 14 years, I have slept with a little 3-pound chihuahua behind my back, snoring like a fucking man, like an elephant. And knowing that my animals are one of the most important things in my life is awesome. And so I'm always giving them treats and loving on them and, all the things, right? They're spoiled as fuck. Let me just say that. But that's one of the main things I would list that I have prosperity in, is that kind of love. List things like that. People don't always think of prosperity as love. They think of it as, well, I only have $10 in the bank, but all your bills are paid. You have a pantry and a refrigerator full of food. Everybody in your house is happy. They're healthy. Your cars are full of gas. That's prosperity. We forget about those things. So make a list this weekend of the things that you're grateful for, that you have prosperity in. Open up a line of communication with yourself. And I want you literally to look at it like this, okay? There is physical Lesa and there's spiritual Lesa. There's physical Lesa, spiritual Lesa. Physical Lesa is the one that's responsible for physical things, right? Paying the bills, making sure there's water and the lights are on and there's food, and the physical Lesa goes to the job and does the things, right? Spiritual Lesa, however, is doing all of these other things. Spiritual Lesa is looking at the moon and the stars. Spiritual Lesa is getting the goosebumps by that new sound that's going around social media that everybody's playing. Spiritual Lesa is noticing how the waves in the water look like words. Spiritual Lesa is hearing the sounds of the rain and getting messages. Spiritual Lesa is having prophetic dreams. But spiritual Lesa and physical Lesa don't always talk to each other all the time, because it's usually just one or the other, right? It's just one or the other. But physical Lesa and spiritual Lesa need to be, they're the yin and the yang. They're two parts of a whole. They're two parts of one amazing soul. You need to be having communication between the two of them. And I'm going to advise doing this by working on some breath work, drinking some lotus tea, whatever it is, to be able to put you in a very meditative mindset. So that way you can have that conversation, the two parts of yourself. What would make physical Lesa happy? What can spiritual Lesa do that makes physical Lesa happy, and vice versa? What can physical Lesa do that makes spiritual Lesa happy? Do you see what I'm saying? I know that sounds crazy, and you're like, okay, you're literally telling me to have a conversation with myself. But I am. Because yourself, you need to look at it as yin yang, light dark. See, Vlad agrees. Because that's where this clarity comes from. I think that you've been searching for something. You've been searching for clarity. You've been searching for a meaning, a purpose. And you've already got it. You just don't realize, because those two halves of Lesa aren't communicating like they used to. When we really communicate hardcore with our spiritual self, and our spiritual self communicates with our physical self, and we are in tune, then we make the best possible decisions for both parts of ourselves. And the clarity we have from that levels us up in a way that no experience, no amount of money, no person, nothing could do for us. When you hit that clarity, when you're finally having those conversations, both Lesas are having the conversations. Excuse me, be ready for this transformation to pop up. Be ready for this transformation to pop up, because I think that you've been in a holding pattern for too long, Miss Lesa. You've been in a holding pattern waiting for something big to happen, but it's actually all the big things have already happened. All the big things have already happened. It's the little things that there's one little tiny thing that is the key to unlocking this transformation. Does that make sense, Lesa? Need to make audibles. I could listen to your voice all day. I mean, these are on YouTube. Just saying. Just saying. And thank you. I hate my voice, but I think we all hate our voices. If y'all, good, I'm glad that makes sense, Lesa. If y'all heard me talk to myself when I'm editing videos, when I'm going to edit a video for TikTok or YouTube or anything, and the first thing I do is like, oh, shut up, bitch. I don't want to hear your voice. Like, I turn it all the way down. I'm like, I don't want to hear your voice. Shut up. So, yeah. So, I'm glad y'all like it. All right. Miss Monica. I'm glad that you guys think so. I will say that there's times I used to pull clips of my YouTubes, and I will start pulling some more. Sometimes I'll do a live and do some readings, and I'm like, man, that I wish I had given myself that advice. Like, that's good advice, you know. I used to pull clips, and I'll do that. I'll do that some more. All right. Communication, truth, relief, and divine love. All right, Miss Monica. I like too that it's like 1, 2, 3. 18, 25, 22, 3, 31. So 1, 2, 3. All right. You ready? Oh my God. My nose is itching so bad. I can't stand myself. Okay. I am going to be really blunt. You ready? You need to tell that motherfucker off. I don't know who this is. I think that this is somebody. They're coming into your life under the guise that they're a friend. I don't know if this is somebody that's come back into your life, if it's somebody that was already an acquaintance. I don't know who this is. But the minute that I turned that card over, I was like, okay, they need to kick rocks. They need to kick fucking rocks. And here's the thing, when you need to communicate with them. Okay? You need to communicate with them. This is someone that they push. They want you to hang out. They want you to hang out. They want you to hang out. They want to do this. They want to do this. And then suddenly they're non-existent for several days or a week. And then they push. And then they're non-existent again. It's almost like they like overwhelm and then they're gone, and they overwhelm and then they're gone. And it gets to the point that at first you were really excited to like talk to this person, to hang out, and I really do think that you see them as just a friend. Like that's it. I can't tell you if this is a girl or a guy because the energy is just overwhelming with it. But in your mind, there's not a romantic aspect to it. So it's just literally just a friend. But you need to communicate with them. And you need to be honest. You need to be honest. But first, you need to be honest with you. And here's what I want you to do. I want you for the next couple of days to just think about what it is that makes you feel special when they're overwhelming you. Okay? When they first started coming back into your life, talking to you, whatever it was, when you were first on their radar, and they were kind of overwhelming you, and you were like, oh my God, this is like so cool. Like I have somebody wants to hang out with me. Like, oh my God, you know. Why? Why did you feel the way you felt when this first started? Okay. And be honest, even if, like, pull out that inner toddler, you know, the one that's going to be like, well, you were lonely, or you don't have a lot of friends, or that she's just a beautiful person and you know, want to be like that, or, you know, she's very successful, or whatever it is. Pick out those things that you were like, oh my God, you know, this person wants to hang out with me. And write them down. And I only want you to focus on the good things at the beginning of this friendship. Not now. But I want you to look over that list. And the reason I want you to be really honest with yourself is because you're going to have to be honest with this person too. After you've done this, and after you're honest with yourself about after you're honest with yourself about why this relationship, this friendship, was so overwhelming and great to you at the beginning, it's gonna tell you the areas of Monica that need nurturing. We always are in a constant growth pattern, okay? So don't take that as picking on yourself or this is where your downfalls are, because it's not. We're always in a growth pattern, always. And I want you to look at those things first, because the next part is a little harder. I want you to look at the good things, and then a couple days later, I want you to look at what right now is causing you to be overwhelmed. What is causing you to be overwhelmed with that person? What is causing you to roll your eyes or have that small panic every time you see they text you or they messaged you? What causes you to go, oh. You know exactly, everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. We've all had that person that we're like, oh, I just can't today. Or we look and we go, I can't with you. And then I want you to look at where those two line up. What we like about somebody in the beginning are the things that we want to mirror, the things that we want to do or we want to be. And when it comes to the point that we start to get frustrated and we're like, oh my God, It's usually those things that we don't like about ourselves. Not all of it, okay? Not all of it. But there's always, it's easier for us to see the bad in someone when it's something that's mirroring our shadow. And then it's time to have that communication with this person and be very honest with them and just say, hey, I really appreciate that you want to hang out and be friends and so on. This crazy amount of overwhelming energy and then the nothing is very odd to me. It's triggering me in a way that, you know, I don't want to do this dance anymore. And just be honest without being mean. You know what I mean? And just let them know that their behavior, that's not the way a friend does. Yes, it's setting a boundary. And yes, they are not going to take it very well. They're probably going to come back with all kinds of weird shit, and it's going to be your fault, and you have a problem, and blah, blah, blah. And at that point, just block. Just block, okay? Just know it's coming. Just go ahead and block that person. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. I was talking to somebody on a dating site, right? And we talked for a few weeks and then started texting back and forth. The very first text this person sent me was about a marketing program. And they did it under the guise of they were learning this program for their job and they wanted to know if I'd ever used it and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, this is a really weird thing for you to text me randomly. Because it was like 11 o'clock at night. It was really weird. And I said, so instead of being like, hey, how was your day? Your first text to me was to ask me about a marketing program that can clone websites. And the next day they answered back and they were like, yeah, I was looking you up. First red flag. And I saw your website and check this out. And they sent me a video of cloning my website into something else. And I said, I am really uncomfortable with this. And I got back this message. What do you mean? And I said, if you were actually interested in me as a person, as dating me, then why are you asking me about business? I'm not here for business. I'm not an OnlyFans person. I don't need your follow. Why would you ask me about business, right? And he was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to come across that way. Because I was like, I don't think I'm the girl for you. Like, if this is where you're going with this, I'm not interested. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to come across that way, right? So I was like, okay. So a couple of days go by, randomly reaches out again at fucking 11:30 at night and starts asking me to help them with a resume and sends me all kinds of videos about marketing and shit. And then had the balls to say, asked me if I was ever hiring, if I would look at his resume. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut this conversation off right now. If you really were sorry, and you really didn't mean to come across that way, you wouldn't have to do this. This is making me very uncomfortable. It's making me not trust you. And in no way would I ever hire you or use your company or do anything at all that allows you to have any of my money, that allows you to say that you're helping me as a social media creator. No, I'm not doing any of this. And he got mad and I blocked him. The same goes for friends. The same goes for people that overwhelm you with stuff. You have to be very honest and set that boundary. Ooh, I love that, Andrea. I'm going to mention that in just a second. You have to set that boundary. we're taught that if we have a friend that's overwhelming us, that maybe that friend just needs help and maybe we should just be nicer to them or hang out with them more or whatever. When the case is actually that they need to learn boundaries. They need boundaries, man. So it's a test for us to be able to set those boundaries, because if we have to tell somebody that they're making us uncomfortable, that makes us uncomfortable because we want everybody to like us. So by telling that person, hey, you're overwhelming me. I don't like that kind of music, or I don't like going to concerts, or I can't go out and drink every single night, like things like that. That's a test for you and for them. And you will pass and they are not going to pass. When you finally block this person, it's going to be such a relief, Monica. It's going to be such a relief, because when you set this boundary with them, so much is going to come out. And I just want to say this before this ever happens. You are not going to deserve you're not going to deserve any of the shit that they say to you. You're not going to deserve any of the shit that they say to you. And I want you to remember that. And this is on YouTube, so you can go back and listen to it. You're not going to deserve any of the things that they say. Know that the things that they say to you is not going to be a reflection of you. It's going to be a reflection of, unfortunately, their shitty view of themselves. It doesn't mean that it's not going to hurt your feelings. And I will absolutely put them in a jar if you need me to. I'll spit in that bitch. I don't care. Because I consider you a friend. And just know that it's definitely not you, it's them. It will prove you the point of why you don't need that person in your path. When you cut this person out, when you have this relief of blocking them out of your path, their constant push and pull on you has been making it to where you can't hear the universe. That's why this is coming up. That's why this has to be something where you cut them completely off. Like they are not allowed, back into your energy, because they have been the boundary between you and this path that you've been trying to be on for a long time. So I want you to remember that. I know just from reading for you for a little bit, having, an in-person meeting and getting to talk one-on-one with you, I know that you feel that it's like you're missing out on this massive step up. You setting this boundary is going to allow you to set this boundary with other people when they pop up and are starting to do this. And that way you can really get this divine love and this aspect in and get to going on the path that you should be on. So these are kind of like tests for Monica. Doesn't mean they don't suck, but just know that I'll happily put this person in a jar for you. I'm just saying. Does that make sense, Monica? I know that it's going to make sense more in about 3 weeks than it is right now. You wanted a change and a shift, so here it comes. Here it comes. I love that you said that, Andrea. You have an idea of who it is. He makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. I hate that you know who it is, and I'm glad that you know who it is at the same time. Nikki. Yeah, trying to date today is stupid. It's stupid. It just is. It's stupid. So, hey, Jara. Right now, I'm not doing a lot of custom orders. I'm trying to catch up on a backlog of stuff, but I will be doing a new batch of protection jars here really soon. So if you just kind of watch my website, they'll be back up. Make sure that you follow me because I'll usually do a video of them. So yeah. The dating pool was stocked from Chernobyl. I told someone the other day, I was having a discussion with a dude friend of mine. I am not his type. He's in the LGBTQ plus community, but we were having a conversation. And I hadn't got to sit down and talk to him in a long time. Well, text, I guess. But I told him, I was like, never ever in my life, and I've lived in Oklahoma for a while, too long. Never ever in my life until the last 2 years has it been an overwhelming amount of constantly being told to fix my hair, to change my hair. I've been told that I am much prettier without the sides of my head shaved. Fuck off, let me shave them again. I've been told that I have too many tattoos, that I need to take my nose ring out, that I need to lose weight, that they have a problem with what I do for a living. Bitch, fuck off. That tells me I'm not the girl for you. Because I'm not going to stop doing any of these things. I'm not going to stop doing any of these things. In fact, you telling me that I should never shave my head again because I'm prettier without it, guess what I'm about to go do? You telling me that I have too many tattoos? Let me book another one. Let me book another one. You telling me to go lose weight? I'm going to go get tacos. You know what I mean? I've never ever in my life had people try to destroy my self-esteem as I had in the last 2 years. It is ridiculous. And then when you're like, motherfucker, you look like Jabba the Hutt, the Wish version of Tina Turner, and some screwed up bizarro version of Bon Jovi all had some weird lump of clay hate baby and then put it on a dating site. Plus your personality is all of that of a mud puddle, and you're telling me that I'm not good enough for you. Ho, please. It's fantastic. I will say one of my favorite things to do on a dating site, and I'm kind of just, I'm sure that I'll get this Tinder account banned too, is trolling. I love to match with the obvious fake accounts. You know, it's like some model aspect guy, and he's gorgeous and he's fantastic, and he's got a PhD, but he can't use a period. And they're all the same, you know, looking for a soulmate. I want to be friends before I love somebody and, you know, build a relationship. Distance is just that. I can be anywhere. Bullshit. Let's play. I love that. I love those guys. I do. I'll let them talk for a little bit first, and then I will start asking them for money. I'll be like, so we've been talking for, 3 days, and I figure you owe me about this much. It's fun. I love it. It's great. It's fun. So yeah, I'm trying to not get my Tinder account banned though, because I really like trolling them. All right, Niki, because I already have your cards drawn. Responsibility, boundaries, and clarity, and then heal thyself. Okay. All right. So you have responsibility, you have boundaries, and then clarity underneath it, and then you have heal thyself. Okay. Docky having a dream. Miss Nikki. This is a lot. Imbolc is going to be interesting for you because Monday is going to be a day that's going to be a complete shift in your way of thinking. Monday is going to be a day where it's just going to seem like one thing after another is reminding you of all the responsibilities that you have. Every single one. Not only is it going to be reminding you of all the responsibilities that you have, but you're going to feel the weight of them. So let me say this. Don't plan anything for Monday evening. Come home, eat dinner, take a hot shower, take a hot bath, whichever one you prefer, and go to bed early. Go to bed early. Because this is going to feel like your whole shoulders are caving in. And here's what I'm going to advise, and just hear me out. I want you to fully feel that. I want you to fully feel that. Because the next two cards you have are boundaries and clarity. And by fully feeling the responsibilities that you have and the weight of all of them, when you wake up on Tuesday morning, there's going to be a need in here of you to set boundaries. A lot of it is going to be setting boundaries with you. And when you set boundaries with you, a lot of these responsibilities, and now I'm going to put them in air quotes, are not going to feel as heavy because they're going to be things that either you've agreed to do or you've taken on in some way that you can just as easily say no to. We're programmed, doesn't matter who you are, what gender you are, where you come from, it doesn't matter. We're programmed to want to do everything. We need to have 9 different things that we're doing at once. We need to be, going out with friends to all these events and concerts every single night. We need to have this job and this job. And we're programmed to take on too much, to be overwhelmed. And I think that you've been overwhelmed for so long that now, once this hits you on Monday, when you wake up Tuesday morning, you're going to have this thirst and this desire to cut so much of that shit out. Tuesday is going to be a day of really intense clarity. Really intense clarity. And what's funny is you're going to feel like a completely different person from Monday. Monday's Nikki is overwhelmed. Monday's Nikki feels like the whole world is on your shoulders. Monday's Nikki is heavy. Tuesday's Nikki is cunning. Tuesday's Nikki is looking around going, I don't like you. I don't like you. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. Tuesday's Nikki is a badass mamma jamma. Tuesday's Nikki has all of the clarity of all of the things that have been overwhelming you on purpose. Tuesday's Nikki is sharpening the scissors. Motherfucker. Over the rest of the week, Nikki, I think that next week is going to be, it's going to be a interesting week for you. I think that you're going to wake up on Saturday and go, where the hell did the week go? But you're going to look back and see all of the people, the situations, the responsibilities, every single thing that you went and cut out. I would not be surprised if you go through your phone and you start blocking people right and left. I would not be surprised if you walk into work and tell your boss like, hey, I appreciate that you would like me to work on this project, but you've already given me these projects, and physically I can't provide enough time to do this project justice. And I think so-and-so would be a better person for it. And literally be honest and say it like that. You know, I need to be able to give this stuff time to do it the way that it needs to be done. And I have too much on my plate here. I want to make sure that you're happy with my performance and I'm happy with my performance. And I can't do that if I have 57 goddamn projects. Maybe don't say the goddamn, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know your boss. But there's going to be people that you just block. And then there's going to be people that you're going to have this, okay, motherfucker moment. And you're going to be like, next week's Niki, Tuesday through Friday Niki, that Niki says what needs to be said. I'm giving you the freedom right now. That Niki says what needs to be said to set the boundaries, to have clarity, and to cut shit out of your life that no longer needs to be there. Because you have this amazing goal that you're wanting to move forward. You have this amazing person that you want to be. You have all of these things that you want to accomplish, and you can't do that with all of this weight hanging on your shoulders. You can't do that with all of these people hanging around your neck. So this weekend, have all of your badass clothes ready to go for Tuesday through Friday. Monday, wear something comfortable because you're going to feel so heavy. Tuesday through Fridays, Niki, however, just saying. And then next weekend, this is the Heal Thyself card. Next weekend is just Niki time. That's it. That's it. I want you to plan at least one day this next weekend and tell everybody in advance, like, I'm turning my phone off on Saturday, or I'm going to the zoo by myself. I'm going to go watch a movie, whatever it is. I'm sleeping in, I'm binge watching. I don't care, whatever it is. But you need to tell people like, hey, I'm turning my phone off. I need a break from everything and everyone. Or put it on silent and just check a little bit. Or like I usually keep my main phone on work mode, so my kids always will ring through and stuff. But this weekend needs to be just Niki. This weekend needs to be just Niki. Lay around, relax. You're not going anywhere, you're not doing anything. Try to stay off social media for the most part. Just chill. Watch cartoons all weekend. Okay? Because and here's the thing, as I'm telling you all this and you're like, that's a lot and I don't know about this, okay? I want you to think about this over the next couple of days, tonight and tomorrow. How much are you really ready to give up to be this amazing golden Niki that's in your head? How much are you willing to give up to be up here, to hit this goal, to hit all of these goals on the way up there? How much are you ready to show the universe that you're willing to do to be that? How much are you willing to do? Because if you're not willing to do these things, then you're not ready to be up here yet. Does that make sense? You don't have to be full on the Devil Wears Prada, but you've got to fake it till you make it. I'm not going to lie. For the longest time, I was a people pleaser, and I was really, really, really worried about hurting anybody's feelings by telling them I couldn't help them with something, or by saying no. And so I would drop the ball on too much shit because I was overwhelmed. And it wasn't until I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. And I had to have a come to Jesus with Bodhi talk. So, yeah. I'm just saying. You can do this. I have faith in you. I have faith in you. I know you can do it. But the key, don't forget this. Don't forget this next weekend. It's just Niki time. Okay? It's just Niki time. Okay? You got this. We all have faith in you. We all have faith in you. You are so welcome. All right. Sherri D. I have Sherri, Suzanne, Tamra, and Tashana. There you are, love. Okay. Well, 2 and 2. All right, 2 and 2. So you have healing grief with rest underneath, and then you have inspiration with nurture underneath. All right. So 2 separate things. Ready? Yeah. So you have healing grief, and then you have rest underneath it. And these 2 came out together. When it comes to your health, and we're talking physical health, okay? You need a break. You need a break. I think that what Imbolc is bringing for you is a very light week, okay? A very light, calm week. And here's why I think that. Our bodies, our muscles, our cells, I mean, it's even been proven that water all has memory. And even though this really deep loss of someone that you loved dearly has softened over time, you never took the time to rest and to process physically. We're taught to do all of the things that allow us to soften the edges of that hole that it leaves when someone leaves. It doesn't matter if this is a parent, if this is a friend from kindergarten you hadn't seen in 30 years, someone you just barely knew, you just barely met once. Anytime we hear that someone we know personally is gone, it leaves this weird jagged hole. The closer we are to that person, the bigger that jagged hole is. And we're taught, you need to process the grief, and you need to cry, and you need to, remember. And we're taught all of the things that have to go with mentally, emotionally processing, spiritually processing. But muscles have memory. The water that makes up your body has memory. And that grief, that stress, all of that is carried in here. So this week, this Imbolc, this rebirth that you've been needing so bad, is going to start with a very, very light week. It's going to be very chill, very calm. I'm not saying there's not going to be any stress, because it's life, but it's going to be a very kind of nice, chill, calm week. I want you to make a really, really big conscious effort to go to bed early every night this week. Eat good food, eat some greens, eat some salad, eat some veggies, drink a lot of water. Like, take care of your physical meat sack. I want you to treat the meat sack that is Sherri like a kid that's been really sick. A kid that just went through the very first heartbreak. A kid that has been working really, really hard on a project for school and finally got it done. How would you spoil that kid? Would you let that kid lay around on the couch and watch TV all day? Would you get that kid's favorite meal? Would you take that kid to get a massage? Or let that kid sit in the big bathtub as long as they wanted? What would you do to nurture that kid's physical self? To help that kiddo feel better physically? I want you to treat you like that this week. Okay? I want you to treat you like that this week. And if you get so relaxed that you finally can get a big ugly cry out, fantastic. And if not, fantastic. But this right here is all about you being nice to the meat sack Sherri. The spiritual Sherri needs to be nice to the meat sack Sherri. Okay? The physical Sherri needs the nurturing from the spiritual Sherri. Okay? All week long. Then you have inspiration and you have nurture. And the nurture was underneath the inspiration. This is going to be next week and beyond. Sometimes when we don't realize that some of that jagged hole of grief is still jagged, we think that it's softened a little bit, but there's still teeth in there. It's like, you know, when you brush up against a piece of furniture that's got like splinters or frayed parts on it, and you brush up with your shirt and it catches your shirt and it pulls it like this, and it doesn't snag, but you're just caught and you have to back up and like untangle yourself from it. That's what that jagged hole does with everything we're trying to do. Because as we start to move forward, let's say that we get a promotion, we get an offer to get a promotion, and the boss just needs us to say yes. But in our mind, we're like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this. Yes, 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 yes. But then our second thought is, yeah, but Mom would really have loved to see this. What if I don't take the promotion? Well, let's say you have vacation planned and your boss says, you know, I would love for you to take this promotion, but could you put your vacation off a week? Yeah, well, I promised Mom that I would go on this vacation and blah, 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 blah. So we don't take the promotion. Do you see what I'm saying? You've got to do this, take this rest, so you can untangle your clothes from all of those jagged things that are holding you back. It's not that you haven't been inspired. It's not that you don't know which way you want to go, because you do. You know exactly where you want to go. You know exactly what your goals are. You know exactly. but the inspiration hasn't been there for you to move forward because you're still caught here. So after you have this week of rest and fantastic chill out time, that's when this inspiration hits. That's when it's time to nurture. And I want you to notice that she literally has the same purple dress on. This one has a wolf, this one has a horse, but I also love that purple is like a main color of Imbolc. I think that next week's Sherri is much stronger, much calmer, much happier, much more ready to walk down the path that she's supposed to be on. And that's when you can start nurturing all of these aspects. That's when this inspiration is so intense that everything you do seems inspired. So take this week and be nice to physical Sherri. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. And I'm reading your messages, you're messaging it. So you knew exactly what I was talking about. And I'm so sorry that you lost your dad. I just messed that up. I'm sorry that you lost your parents, my friend. Well, I'm glad I was spot on. Suzanne's probably already gone to bed, so you'll probably be watching this on YouTube. I love you. Right back. Actually, that one was before. All right. Oh, there she is. There's Suzanne. All right. Truth, boundaries was that way. Heal thyself and divine light. Okay. All right, how much do you love me? Because I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. So the first thing is truth. Imbolc is bringing a lot of truth your way, Suzanne. And I'm just going to say right now that some of these truths are going to suck. Some of these truths are going to be... It's funny because it's going to come in the form of you watching a movie, you watching a show, whatever it is, and suddenly having this epiphany of, oh my God, that is mirroring exactly what this was or what that was, what happened here, what happened there. And you're going to see the transparency of both sides of the situation. And seeing this truth, and I don't think it's just one, okay? It's going to be a whole lot of things. And I have a feeling it's going to be really over the next couple of weeks. A lot of them are going to happen at once. But it's going to kind of slowly unpack itself through the next couple of weeks. Really the next week. A lot of these truths are going to be inner truths about you. I'd say about half of them. The other half are going to be truths about situations that you've been a part of over the last 3 years, that you're going to suddenly have a different understanding of the situation. Doesn't mean that you're not going to change, that you're going to change your view of everything. What it means is that you just suddenly see it from a different angle. And seeing things from a different angle sometimes gives us a clarity that we didn't realize we needed. Even though the situation has been over and done for years, there's still something that sticks. There's still something that we can't get past. It's almost like, you know, those little cool pieces of crystal or glass, and they have the etching in the middle, right? And when you look at them straight on, like you can see the picture of it, right? And you're like, man, that's really cool. That's really pretty. And then when you turn it to the side, you actually see the depth of it. You see like how far back that piece went and how that is just right there. And you see, when you turn it to the side, like you see the depth of the engraving and the depth of the picture. And you can't help but like, then turn it on the top and then turn it on the other side and then turn it on the bottom and like look at it from every single angle. And suddenly when you look back at it from the front again, you have this whole different aspect of the situation of that carving. That's the kind of things that are going to hit over the next week. But give yourself a couple of weeks to process these things, because like I said, half of them are going to be inner things about you and the other half are situations. And the situations are just going to be just that, situations, and more clarity with it. The you things, however, when these happen, and to be honest, I think that you've just been so overwhelmed. I keep pointing back to this truth card. I think that you've been so overwhelmed over the last 3 years that you haven't been able to do any of the Suzanne work over here. So when a lot of these hit, it's going to feel personal. It's going to feel personal. Like you're going to be like, damn, Suzanne, that was mean. Like, what the fuck? Why are you saying that? Like, you're going to be mad at yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to feel like yourself is insulting yourself. Like, it's going to feel personal as fuck. And also make sense at the same time. So, here's where these boundaries come in. Because when you start having these epiphanies about yourself, the reason that they're, and I hate that you've been so overwhelmed, and so that's why they're all hitting at once. Let your husband know that you need all of the wine, all of the chocolate, all of the tacos, whatever this week. But when these things start to hit, it's so you can create boundaries with you. In seeing these situations for what they are, and in seeing them for what they were, what you thought they were at the time, and then having the epiphanies about Suzanne, that allows you to take a big pause and set some boundaries before you take a step forward. It's almost like pausing and putting on some armor and then being able to step forward, and then pausing and putting on more armor and then being able to step forward, and then more. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's always, every one of these epiphanies about Suzanne are going to allow you to put on more armor, more protection, because that's what boundaries are, is protection. Sometimes it's protection from douchebags, and sometimes it's protection from our inner douchebag. It's from ourself. Because nobody is perfect, and we all have downfalls. We all have shitty parts of ourselves, and we all have great parts of ourselves. So setting the boundaries with the shitty parts of ourselves. Oh, I love that. I've been setting some boundaries for the last month. It's already, and more's come. So when we set boundaries with the shitty parts of ourselves, we're acknowledging that. So that connects us to the shadow aspect and allows us to process like, okay, I am a little selfish, you know, like I did drink all the tea, whatever. I'm just being funny right now, but I did drink all the tea, but I bought it. So I can be, so, you know, but we're acknowledging that part. So that helps with the shadow aspect. And then at the same time, we're setting a boundary, which does two things. A, it shows the shadow aspect. Okay, I see that you're there and I understand and I am integrating that part in. But at the same time, you're not allowed to come out to play. I know you're there. We've talked, we've chatted, you're a part of me, but you're not allowed to come out and play. And two, it allows you to set boundaries with people that want to do that. Because a lot of times we draw in people that have the outward shadow part that we despise in ourselves. So selfish is an easy one, okay? Because we're all a little selfish. We're all a little selfish. We can see where someone else is selfish way before they even come out with being selfish. So these boundaries are going to allow you to set yourself up for success. I'm not going to lie. The truth, the boundaries, those are hard things. Those are heavy things. But what I love about it is the divine light card. This is finally seeing things for what they are. It's having a brilliant light shone on something. And I want to show you this. This is the harp, right? And then notice what's on the rock right there. It's literally the harp. Having that divine light come through and having that divine light, really? Finally? Okay. Having that divine light show through all of these boundaries and show through all of this truth. That's when this happens. These boundaries and these shadowy parts of you are triggered from kid Suzanne a long time ago. They're triggered from things that never were healed then. They're triggered from adults that were this. They're triggered from a lot of things when Suzanne was young that were never discussed. I think that you're going to see a lot of things with this divine light that are going to be big epiphanies about you, about why you draw the friends you draw, why you're attracted to certain jobs, why you know you try to make friends with these type of people. There's going to be so many epiphanies that happen with this divine light. And know that this isn't just like a little step up in your spiritual path. This is like this. I mean, this is a crazy, crazy. And when you hit that high up there and you're looking down, know that it's going to make you a little dizzy, okay? It's going to make you a little dizzy because you're going to be like, how did I not see that? How did I not see that? Okay? I'm just saying. Does that make sense, Suzanne? Are you serious right now? Mods, I don't know if you can grab this, but the boo bloaty. Yeah, bloaty. Bodley. The boo Bodley is in my live. Can somebody block that person, pretty please? Thank you. Thank you. That absolutely amazes me. That person has over 1,000 followers. Over 1,000 followers. I hope that makes sense, Suzanne, honey. There's one out there that has over 10,000 followers. They have almost as many followers as my backup account has. And that's insane to me. I will say that my manager is working on getting something done for me so that way I can get verified. It probably won't even matter, but it'll at least allow me to get verified on YouTube as well. So, because it's ridiculous at this point. All right, Tamra, you ready? I have Tamra and Tashana. The good thing about this account over here is I can pay attention to every person that rolls through here. The comments aren't going so fast that I'm missing them. Just saying what I'm saying. All right. Ready? Strength, healing grief, nurture, and heart healing. Okay. Imbolc is bringing you a lot of letting go. A lot of letting go. One of the things that Imbolc is really bringing you, Tamra, is this amazing golden inner strength core. I was gonna say, do you remember like when you were a teenager and you were like 19 and you had the world figured out and you knew all the things and stuff? But it's beyond that. It's beyond that. This type of inner strength is more an adult who's adulting. An adult who's adulting. When we hit this amazing adulting level, it's like we start to see through. Let me back up. Here's a better way of describing it. You know, in all the fairy tales with the beanstalks, right? And the beanstalk goes way up above the clouds. And you climb through the beanstalk and you get up to the top of the cloud. You see the giant castles and stuff. And you look down and you see all the little houses down there and the little peoples. And you know what I mean? And you're like, what the hell? How is that where I live? You know? How is it so tiny? That's exactly what this inner strength is like. Okay? That's exactly what this inner strength is like. But this isn't just you climbing up to the beanstalk and looking down. This is you climbing up through that layer of clouds on the beanstalk, and suddenly you're no longer this little tiny human. You're a giant in a castle. You're adulting. You're an adult who's adulting. And so when this happens, you have that moment of like, oh my God, I'm adulting. You know, like this like little happy dance, you know, like, oh my God, I'm adulting. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is way easier than I thought. And how is it that I'm just now figuring this out? And so then we start to get a little angry at ourselves because we're like, why haven't I been doing this all along? And you have to go through this. This is a grief process. So Imbolc is bringing you A, this amazing inner strength, and B, some grief you got to take care of. So one of the things about being an adult is this. You only have to do the things you have to do, and you don't have to take on anything else. If you're overwhelmed, if you're taking on too much, If you get home from work one day and you have plans to go do something with some friends or whatever, and it's just been a day and you just can't, you can say no. You can say no, because an adult doesn't have a parent to drag them somewhere. An adult doesn't have all of these other adults that tell them what to do. If you get up in the morning and you're sick as fuck, you're running a fever, or maybe you're not running a fever, but let's say you're in there like upchucking all the upchuck that can be upchucked, and you just feel like shit, and you just know you can't physically go to work, you don't have to wait for your mom to come in and say, okay, well, you're not running a fever, so you have to go to the doctor. I don't care if you've thrown up 9 times. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. But then you have to grieve that you've held yourself down for so long. So take time and grieve and let go of the pre-adult you. Does that make sense? The pre-adult you. Because you're going to find out that you've been holding yourself back for far too long. And it's going to make you angry, and it's going to make you irritated, and you're going to have some harsh words for yourself. Just let it out. Okay? Just let it out. If you need to cuss at yourself, do it. Just don't stay there. If you need to be mad at yourself, do it. Just don't stay there. If you need to be really upset, I knew that was coming, then do it. Just don't stay there. Okay? Because hold on just a minute here, TikTok, because if I don't do this, it's gonna keep doing that. I would really like for you to work. Really? So when I smack it, it works. When I smack it, it works. There we go. Thank you, thank you. I just knew it was going to keep screaming. So you're going to have to take some time over the next couple of weeks and really, really nurture you. Okay? Really, really nurture who you are. Nurture this new adult aspect. Nurture the old adult aspect. Nurture the inner child. Like, literally, go buy yourself some Play-Doh, a coloring book, some scissors, whatever. Okay? But you want to make sure that you're nurturing every aspect of you. Okay? I thought I had a thing in here. I do. I like Reese's Pieces. I like Reese's Pieces. But before I can eat them, we gotta sort them by color, and then by how many. Like, there's only 2 yellows, so we gotta. There's tons of. It has to go yellow, orange, brown. It has to go yellow, orange, brown. There's always more oranges, and I don't know why. Oh, there's an uneven orange. Okay. Yes, this is the thing. I do this with Skittles and M&Ms. All right. All right. All right, so now we have 6, 6, and 2. Okay. Neurodivergence unite, right? All right. Tamra, I know that this sounds like normal advice that anyone would give, but I also know that you've been neglecting you for too long. That's why the Strength is the first card that popped up. That's why you've been feeling less than for so long. There's a big reason why this is coming up. This is the heart healing card. And this is not for you. Okay? Thank you, Miss Evelyn. This is not for you. This is. You've got a very close friend that's fixing to go through something very, very hard. Very, very hard. And they're going to need all of the help that they can get. They're going to need all of the support that they can get. And they need an adult friend that can hold their hand and walk them through this. Okay? Now, when I say walk them through this, I don't mean do everything for them. I mean be a support beam for them. Okay? So Imbolc is making you a stronger version of you. I'm also going to say this, Tamra. I think that you've been drawn to healing arts here lately, especially probably over the last 4 or 5 months. I think that it's something that you've been looking at starting to get into. And I think that this is the step you need before you get here. I think you have a natural healing ability. And I think that it is something that you need to look into. But this stuff has to happen first. Okay? Does that make sense? Miss Tashana, my last one. For those of you guys that did not get on my list this evening, or you're new to following me, my list and my tickets are posted on my link tree. You guys can grab one when they are up. I will have my schedule for next week up before Monday night. Monday night, I will be live here on this TikTok account, as well as live on YouTube. And we will go from there. All right. I've been so impressed with these shots. I've been so impressed with my sugar. And you know what's funny? Even when I've gotten a little warning that it had hit 89, and this is always a couple minutes behind, which means it's probably about 84, 80. Knock on wood, it has never sunk below 80. I love how much this has started to actually regulate my sugar. I'm not nervous about it anymore. I'm not nervous about it anymore. And that's a really nice place to be. All right, Tashana, ready? awareness, strength, and you have blessed sight upside down that came out with that. And it was in every single reading at the beginning, and then I called its name out and it wasn't doing it again, and now there we go. All right. So awareness, strength with blessed sight upside down underneath it, and grace. You have a decision to make. Imbolc is bringing something interesting to you. I want to point out the full moon up here. The full moon in February is on the 20th. Over the last couple of years, you felt repeatedly like the gifts and abilities that you had have been getting turned way down and or off. So you've been feeling disconnected. And the more you felt disconnected, the more you felt like your gifts and abilities were going. This is kind of a bucket was over full aspect. And so some of those gifts and abilities had to kind of evaporate a little bit, had to go away, had to be turned off, paused, because they were overshadowing something completely different. What sucks about this is when you have an ability, a gift that you've relied on for so long, and then suddenly it's gone or you turn it off, it feels like it's almost like a phantom limb. You're so used to having it and being able to reach out and do things and use it that when it's not there, you feel incomplete. Over the next couple of days, I would highly recommend being hyper aware of every spiritual, I'm going to say it in air quotes, every feeling that pops up. Every feeling that pops up. Any dream, anytime the hair stands up on your neck or your arms, anytime you get the goosebumps from music, anytime that you just think something and then it happens, anytime that, you know, you're thinking of a friend and then they call, anytime that something spiritual touches you, anytime numbers pop up, the same bird appears repeatedly, anytime something spiritual happens, be hyper aware of it. Pause in the moment. Obviously not if you're driving, but pause in the moment and really pay close attention to it. Because by doing that, it's going to show you where these new strengths lie. The strength that you've had didn't go anywhere. It's still there, but it's kind of like old hat at this point. It's like going smell blind to something. If your house always smells like roses, then eventually you're not going to smell it anymore. This is like when you change perfumes and you feel like it's so strong because you can smell it, but it's just because you haven't been used to that smell yet. But yet you can wear the same perfume for decades And you can be drowning yourself in it and never smell it, but everybody else is falling over as you walk past. You've kind of gone scent blind a little bit to some of these gifts and abilities, especially to this strength that you have, this crazy like iron core strength that you have. And part of the reason this blessed sight is upside down is because I think that that is something that you've turned off. I think that the blessed sight is something that you've turned off. And it's something you and I have talked about a couple of times about drawing people to you or being drawn to people that you know are not going to be here for very long. You've turned it off. And I'm not going to tell you to turn it back on. I'm not going to tell you to do anything with it. Because to be honest, I think that that gift has run its course. That gift has done what it was supposed to do. It brought you where it was supposed to bring you, and you've experienced the things that you needed to experience. I don't think that this needs to be a part of who Tashana is anymore. It's a part of who she was, and it's still going to be a part of you. But I don't think that it's a gift that you need to utilize anymore. Not saying that it won't be utilized, but I'm saying that it doesn't need to be utilized anymore. And the reason that I'm saying that is because of this grace card. The strength card coupled with the grace card. I think that you know you have to make this decision. And I think that, and this decision is for physical Tashana, not for spiritual Tashana. And I don't know what the decision is. I think you do when I'm talking about it. It's a decision that you've been putting off for probably a year and a half. Because it puts you in a new zone. It's not that it takes you out of your comfort zone. It's not that it puts you in an unfamiliar thing. It just puts you in a new zone, and you're not sure if you're ready to move to a new zone yet. You're not sure if you're ready to shift somewhere else yet. Because this blessed sight, this gift, this ability that you've kind of, it's a part of who you are. And it's been a part of who you are for so long that even though you turned it off and you're like, I'm not doing that, I'm done. It's still kind of like, it's like you got the Medal of Honor for it. But for some reason, there's like this rope attached to a big cinder block with it. So even though you wear that Medal of Honor really proudly, it's attached to this cinder block. And the cinder block is stuck. It's got you stuck in space. So you can't really like put your feet on the ground and you can't float off. You're just like stuck. You need to look at this decision. Spiritual Tashana needs to help physical Tashana look at this. Because physical Tashana is acting out of, it's not fear, apprehension of the unknown, apprehension of shifting, of moving. Spiritual Tashana is like, bitch, let's go. Bitch, let's go. This decision that you need to make, staying in the now and not making the decision or saying no to the decision is going to keep you in stasis. And I'm not saying that that's bad. Okay? I'm not saying that that's bad. I don't feel like this is something that the universe is like, make the decision or I'm going to make it for you. So I'm not saying that this is bad. Okay. But if you decide to stay in this stasis, you need to put an end date on it and start making goals to get out of that stasis. If you decide to change and shift, you just scared the shit out of me, Doc. Hey, it's okay. Thank you. No one's here. If you decide to change and shift, know that it comes with new abilities. Sometimes we can be in one place for so long that it ends up shrouding our gifts and abilities. The new ones that have popped up, and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. So think about this really carefully over the next week or so. And know that there's no pressure. There's no pressure to actually make the change. But if you decide that you like, I need 6 months, I need a year, you need to actively start working toward that goal. Because if you tell the universe, you know what, I'm not ready to change jobs or date or move or whatever. I'm not ready right now, but I will be ready in 7 months. In 7 months, know that the universe is going to be like, hey, you said 7 months and here to collect. Okay. So do a lot of really hardcore thinking and just having an internal dialogue about stuff. Because if you do decide that you're staying put for a little bit, you have to give it an end date, and you have to work towards those goals for that end date. Because the universe is not going to let you sit for too much past that end date. But I am going to say that this change in the shift does come with these new gifts and abilities, hardcore popping out. So know that that's a thing. And of course that has its good and its bad. It's a really intense gift. It's really a strong gift, and it's something you are going to have to get used to. Good. I'm glad it makes sense. I'm glad it makes sense because I'm always a little nervous. I'm always a little nervous. But be hyper aware. Be hyper aware of every single thing that's going on. Every repeating number, look it up. Every repeating animal or flower, look it up. You know what I mean? Look up the spiritual meaning of fucking everything. Okay? And with that is my list for this evening. Miss Tashana was last. And there's my bedtime reminder on my phone. It's time for me to take my ass to bed. Yeah. For those of you guys that are on my list for wax reads, know that those are going to get moved probably till next weekend. Because tomorrow I'll be going to Oklahoma City and back to get Brody, and yeah, helping him with some stuff. So yeah, but I will see you Monday. I will see you Monday. Just saying. Yeah, I'll see you Monday. I will not leave you for Reiki and Zodiacs. I promise. I promise. I'll be here. I'll be here on this account on TikTok, and I will be here on my only account on YouTube. So I'm just saying. All right, guys. I will see you Monday. Have a good Sunday. Have a good rest of the Imbolc weekend. Okay?